So what's the title?
Well, we're in the Black Occult Think Tank.
That's right.
Is what it is. Black Occult Think Tank. And the title is The Afterlife, Through the Gates of Death.
Wow.
And we're going to kick it up with a little bit of Through the Gates of Death. We'll go to the origin of this death. We'll go to kick it around with different concepts of what's going to happen after we die, or what's going to happen after we transform. And no questions are too big. So, are too big or too small. So right now what I'm going to do is give a shout out and pour, give me my alcohol. You can give me the smaller bottle. We'll spit to the...
Is there anything in there?
Yeah, oh, that shit is gone. Oh, shit, I forgot. I'm amongst the Negroes. Yep. Negroes and alcohol. You know how you go to a party and after the alcohol is drank up, the niggas go home.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And just gonna give a couple of shout outs to the Palos and a little bit of the West African Congo deities. We're gonna give a shout out to Lakshmi, East India, and Vishnu and Shiva and Shiva, Shakti, Parvati, Sati, Krishna, Radha, Jalahandra, Balarama, Durga, Kali, Tara, Ganesha, you know, Lilith. We got Lilith sitting here. African Venus, one aspect of it from the Dahomey. African Venus from Ethiopia right here. Heru, Osar, Aset, Zarabanda, Mama Shola, Madre de Agua, Madre de la Luna, La Santísima Muerte, La Spiritus and Tranquilas, Mama Shola, San Simon, Francisco Siete Reyes, Santísima Pedro Iman, El Cristo Negro, El Cristo Rey, Anubaresh, Anubas, Tahudi, Sashet, Sekhmet, Mayat, Satan, Shaitan, Futan, Awas, Obas, Iwas, Malektas, Lamb, Tayamat, Kingu, Mamu, Aradi, Dionysus, Bacchus, Phanes, Eros, Psyche, Sashet, Selket, Mamu, Astal, Labado, Otincha, Tiacha, Sheola, Shumala, Omagumu, Alcala, Lokeo, Kakumbo, Owalensu, Lalila, Exanthes, Kasimbo, Nisabab, Isala, Althea, Lokeo, Babylonia, Babylon, Ashe, Aya, Ayo, Isadora, Buddha, Alat, Layla, Lilith, Layla-2, Satis, Anarchist, Satis, Nekabet, Uwajet, Kundalini, Lalita, Yama, God of Death, Ama, Neama, Nomo, Yugaru, Mut, Newt, Apit, Tyret, Sutnesi, Sutnubit, Setes, Sudhar, Newt, Hadit, Rahar Kiwit, Hamaku, Heru Sept, Heru Bahutit, Hamakis, Labu, La'amu, Mim, Menabis, Muntu, the Cthulhu, Shemdigarath, Hastar, Yosathos, Nearlit Hotep, Azazel, Samaza, Azos, Gaia, Okonos, Titans, Asuras, Virtra, Amin-Ra, Amin-Rinth-Sa, Netters, Nibiru, Nephilim, Kalipop, Tunnels of Set, Amenta, the Underworld, Gaia, Okonos, Hercules, Perseus, Jason, Medea, Demeter, Persephone, Aradne, Thanes, Erzuli, Baron Samadi, Brigitte, Papagade, Simbi, Dambalawedo, 808, Congo Petro Rada, Nakumpa, Umbelenga, Unkulakulu, Tutu, Thuthu, Umbaba Uwawa, Pazuzu, Pazuzu, Pazuzu. Ashe. We're going to deal with that. Divi, 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 the Great Mother. And all forms of the Great Mother. So we're going to kick it around like that. Aphrodite, Ishtar, Anana, Astarte, Sabbath, Metatron, Metronet. And at this particular time, we're going to have an informal, impromptu type of information on certain things pertaining to death, certain things pertaining to people called the demiurge and the enemy. We're going to identify the demiurge and the enemy, which means here is they'll put the decoy, the white boy, in front of us, and everybody that's been oppressed by the white boy around the world, that's enlightened, focus on the white boy, the white man, the white man. But there's some gods behind the white man, or otherwise the white man wouldn't be. You see what I'm saying? If there's forces that can kill up thousands of people in a couple of seconds, then that means the only reason why the white boy is allowed to be a predator on the planet is because there has to be principalities of God that allowed him to do that. And we're in this whole cosmic warfare, so we'll get with that later. Right now, what we want to do is we want to deal with certain things at the afterlife and certain things about death and different things. So we're going to have Brother Panic here that has a lot of the questions written down, and he's going to say some questions. And feel free to jump in at any time. Feel free to jump at any time, and we'll see what it is. This is interesting here because death is a balance out of the slavery of reincarnation for a few minutes. You see what I'm saying? If you didn't have death, you couldn't have life, or you couldn't have a reciprocal type of energy. You would have to have a certain balance. And it is the balance out of the grip of certain entities that put us down here for slaves. We'll get into all that type of thing and all of that also, too. You see, now it's interesting because if you are on the other side of death, you know that the living world is death. And somehow, if you reincarnate from that world into this world again, the others mourns the death of you in their world and the birth of you in this world. Everything is reversed. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Egyptians say foolish are the long-lived. That's why you don't see a lot of old people on the monuments. You know, on the monuments and stuff like that. No, but then again, that's not really saying anything because these people had the knowledge to regenerate themselves so they could live 200-300 damn years. You know what I'm saying? Especially we talking about pre-dynastic on back. When Manetho said, he said, well, there's roughly about 8,000 years of gods and 8,000 years of pre-dynastic and 8,000 years of dynastic. We said 3,000 years of pre-dynastic and another 5,000 years of dynastic. He said roughly about 8,000 to 9,000 years. And they asked him, well, who used to rule before then? He said that was a whole bunch of gods used to rule. Well, that was a time, even in the point before we became, even the point when we first got trapped into the physical, for thousands of years we could regenerate ourselves and live as long as we want to. Now, we know this is because as late as 18th century and early 19th century India, who kept some of these particular mystery schools open, they got accounts of people living 300 years old and only looking like they're in their 40s. And they had people that would live this long because they didn't have a great teacher to come behind in the school to lead the school of yogis to the people behind. So that particular teacher had to continue living until they got a teacher adept and suitable enough and astute enough to take over. So he would just have to live until they would get one up to speed. And you see, you know, so they can live up to 300 years just waiting on the suitable teacher. You see, and just regenerating their cells, I should have got the book out there to show you exactly how that works. They got a woman we got in this book that looked like she's 30, but she's 70. She's 71. You see what I'm saying and all, and it was remarkable. So we know that this can actually happen. This could actually happen. But I'm quite sure when the Egyptians say so foolish are the long live, they were talking about you get to the point where you got to walk in a walker and wear a bag on the side. You might well check yourself on out. You see what I'm saying and all. You know, it's bad enough living down this motherfucker young, excuse his expression. Especially in these modern times when everything is based on capitalism. You see what I'm saying and all, you know, based on capitalism. You know, so it's a certain thing. So we're going to deal with that. We're going to kick this over to, the Brother Panic, but also, like I said, all you brothers can feel free to jump in. But on the other hand, death is the new frontier. In 1999, I did a whole year on death in a lot of the tapes. Death is the new frontier. It is the light in the other room that will come on after this light is extinguished. The only difference is that particular realm hadn't matured to the maximum of what it's going to be. But believe it or not, I know at least from 2001 up to now, the other realm, the underworld, the Amenta, these different mystical names, they have had a series of initiations or a series of what they call, not inaugurations, a series where they have these great parties. What would be the word for that? Where they have these great parties, they have these great ceremonies of a new birthing. And it'll come to me in a minute, but in so many words, they have a... It's not a commencement. It's like you... the word will come to me. It's a great celebration. It's a great celebration. It's a great birthday. It's a great party that is going on, and it'll come to me in a minute and stuff. To talk about it in the Book of the Dead, where they you just see endless amounts of tables of food.
Jubilee or something like that? Tribute?
Not tributes, not jubilees. It's another word that encapsulates all of that. Coronations. Coronations. Coronations.
Right.
And so they have all these coronation parties, and I've seen these parties. I was able to travel in my dreams and see these particular parties on the other side. So what used to be a gloomy and dismal type of terrain is now a beautiful and bright place. So it means that we are standing on the border from looking at this world that is being extinguished, and there's another world on the horizon that is already for us. Right. So they say, I have prepared a kingdom for you. Right. Well, that particular realm is that particular realm has been prepared. Every now and then we bump into these realms. There's a book called Dancing with Dragons by D.J. Conway, and they say that these mystical beings do exist, but every now and then we will see these, that mystical realm will bump into this realm. And that's when you get these mystical beings. They call them the chupacabras and stuff down in Mexico and different things like that. The Loch Ness Monster.
Mothman prophecies.
Mothman prophecies. And these particular mystical beings people see. UFOs is nothing but seeing these particular energy, light energies from the other side and stuff like that. And this earth is full of mystical things that's been unreported by science, because they're not allowed by the governments of the world to report these strange and bizarre creatures. But there's a book that was put out in the early 1900s. Charles Fort is his name, I think, of mysterious beings and stuff. So dragons, fairies. You get the movie Photographing Fairies. There's another one called A Fairy Tale, A True Story. And also the fairy kingdom, when you see these movies like the Santa Claus, the elves, gnomes and all of those things are nothing but different aspects of the other world. Now I witnessed one of these coronations in 2002, where I saw these two people come out of the back of a kitchen. It was like we was in some club. So in so many words, the dream realm will fit the terrain or the setting to coincide with based on what you are familiar with in this world, to send a picture. So what would be a coronation or a celebration or a festival in the other world was me sitting in a club with a bunch of black folks, drinking, eating, having a good time. And out of the back of the kitchen, these little short, dwarf, twa people came out of the back of the kitchen, and they had their face, their skin was actually made out of what you would call mud cloth or kente cloth and different things that they have in the fabrics of Africa. This was the actual skin. And I don't know whether they were sending me a message to say, now you are these otherworldly beings. But it's interesting here, part of, now this is very key, and this is in the mythology, and this is in a lot of the esoteric work. You will have things like elves, gnomes, spirits, demons, ghouls, and goblins, and then you get this word, subterranean pygmies. So we've already identified the pygmy is the derogatory term of what the white man called the twa people. But for the mere fact they have, out of all the people on the earth, they have identified a black African tribe or the most ancient form of the group of the oldest black people on the planet as a part of these demons and all this type of thing, and you get a sense of what they're talking about here. We are connected with the other side, and the twa people is earlier people enough to even identify with the other side. As a matter of fact, just look at the god Bess. It's a monster-like figure. In so many words, I'm still giving you the images in what this world was able to view these spirits as, but in the other world, it's probably something so pristine and so beautiful until what is grotesque on this world is so pristine and beautiful because we're talking about energy, lights, and it can take on any kind of form.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It can take on any kind of form. You see, and these are things that we must ponder, and it was interesting because I understand now why white folks in the 1980s, especially from the mid-80s on up, the toys that the children would, the most popular toys would be these hideous forms of monsters. And they had commentary, why would these children want to play with these hideous form of monsters? And it was in toys and all, and then the computer age came, and now that's all in the PlayStations and all of the other computer games of these hideous forms of monsters. They're trying to get them to understand concepts other than the worldly concepts of what we are used to. And too often they give us religion to tell us that that is all evil. And they give their children and preparing them to just think on an other world type basis. So you want to get your mind to the point where the strange becomes the normal. The bizarre becomes your playground. And then you can expand your mind to go beyond just the mundane realm. It's just the mundane realm. So these are some things we ponder. These are some things that, we can very well kick around a little bit. So give me some questions right quick.
All right, these questions from America calling in. The first one you kind of went into, but maybe the second part of the first question.
Yeah.
First question was, what is death, and why are so many people become scared of it?
Yeah. It is said, and even in the book, Dion Fortune's book, that Through the Gates of Death, that the Western man is the only person that ever lived that did not understand death. So basically, when we talk about these things, we're talking about a late Western phenomenon. You see what I'm saying? Number one, because they are immigrant humans. These are the people that these are people that came too late to take the proper world stage of initiations, rites of passages, through mythology, and you see what I'm saying, and through cultural motifs of learning that will prepare people for this world. They came so late until they grew up into a world of ignorance, until the Western man is the person, and you can, if you could pinpoint a culture that didn't know death, it would be that particular one, because we're talking about a people that really didn't have a culture. They borrowed pieces from every other culture. They're a parasite, scavenger. You see what I'm saying? An immigrant human. You see, now it's interesting here. So the mystery here is they weren't prepared for death because of the simple fact, the first culture, as them being a civilized people, they were handed religion. Modern religion, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Which basically is moral, mundane, inspirational ceremony, which has no room to teach about death, because the whole plot is to lock you down in a series of fear. To even be ruled by these religions. So therefore, if you're going to have fear, you got to have a place that's dismal, a boogeyman type of zone that no one wants to go to, that will put them on lockdown to even want to deal with the religion. So therefore, the other world has to be the scapegoat. It has to be the forbidden zone. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what religions give us. It even says in the Bible, I am a God of the living and not the dead. So it simply tells you that this is a new category of inspirational ceremony that is based on moralism, social behavior. You understand what I'm saying? It has very little to do with the realities beyond the physical world. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it says, I am a God of the living and not the dead. Well, let's ponder that for a minute. Everything has to die. So that means death is the ultimate terrain, the ultimate plateau.
That's right.
And the God, and this particular God is saying that I'm not a part of that, it means that God has to be a subordinate deity, masquerading as the supreme being. You understand what I'm saying? You know, because he does not have dominion over that which is outside of the physical body, to the point whereas if you really study, the God that they give over to the dead is the very one that we are prone and taught to be afraid of, Satan. You see what I'm saying? So the angel of death is Satan. Or in the early Christian teachings, they even have this name, Uzzah, or Usar, the god of death. Look at the word Usar, Osiris, which they are right. Osiris is the god of the dead. And you even get this word in early Christian mythology or early Christian teaching of Uzzah, or Usa, which saying in actuality, well, if you really want to deal with that, no, you just got to deal with another type of God. Just so happen it has to be deemed the devil in this world, because this particular teaching and this particular phenomenon of cult, or cult, is that for fear. And that for a childlike people to rear them on the lower realm at all times and stuff like that. So that is one of the reasons why you don't know about death in the Western culture. Now let's take the ancient indigenous culture, where they said that the ancient Egyptians and all other ancient cultures used to learn about death from a very early age. And the more and more they learned about death and learned about death until death became a neat place or something to aspire to be.
Right.
It became, you know what I'm saying? Something that is admired. Now we know you can do that now because how many people fell in love with the Dracula mythology?
Right.
That's some cool shit. It has its own form of immortality. You see? So you can take the same motif and understand how they can teach the people in the ancient world, you see what I'm saying, to fall in love with that particular hereafter because everything is based on funerary rites. You see? And we even have some of those motifs leaping over into the new world when you look at voodoo, where they have all this bearing samadhi, you know what I'm saying, propagated, and all these particular ones. You can even see how neat it is when you get the movie Sugar Hill. Anybody saw the movie Sugar Hill?
Yeah, the old one.
The one from 1975, or 73. And you saw Baron Somebody's in there, and it's cool, killing up people and all. You be like, I want to hang out with them cats, because those cats, they got it going on. The zombies. You see what I'm saying? So, in so many words, we get it in the mythology. It's cool to be dead. You see what I'm saying? Well, in so many words, if you understand that, you could also understand how the ancient people could teach people. How the ancient people could teach people to aspire to look forward to that type of life, and therefore it would be a smooth transition. I'm not saying that they didn't have a certain amount of people that would have a certain emotions when anybody passed out of this world, because it is, you know, it takes a lot to get used to, but still yet, they didn't have this fear of death. And I saw the movie Learning Tree, one of Gordon Parks, who did Shaft. The movie he did before he did Shaft was Learning Tree. And in there, you got the guy, little Newt Wanger, and his grandmama, and Newt saying, man, I sure don't want to die. And the grandmama like, me either. Showing that niggas are scared of death. Then we ask these particular things, how is it that the Native Americans, the Africans, and indigenous people around the world can just lose a grip on things when the white man come in and start taking the earth? Well, number one, they had a prophecy that this stuff was going to happen. Number two, the Native Americans say it's a good day to die. So they didn't look at death as such a tragic form of things when it came to, you know, when it came to people conquering their land. Now, we're not saying they laid down, because they had a lot of, there's one thing about the European, they don't tell you that they had a lot of skirmishes and stuff like that. But my point here is, the difference between the indigenous people is that the European was fighting for his life because he was afraid of death. It might have been a tool of conquering in the end in his Bonaparte, but my point here is it wasn't no big deal for the ancient people. You see what I'm saying? And we can even say that now. We see a glimpse of that in the modern culture with the kamikazes in Japan, or with the Arabs, although they might be lied to about how many virgins they're going to have, the suicide bomber, still yet, it's still based off of a culture that has some remnants of that side of death is not to be feared. And it might be the turning point, and it's going to be the turning point on how these people can say, look, we will never give up this fight. And obviously the Vietnamese had the same thing. Fuck it. We are ready to hold out for 20 years, 30 years, because death is nothing to us. The only person that's fighting for his life is that particular person that doesn't have the knowledge of the afterlife, and not only have the knowledge for the afterlife, know their upper echelon know that this is all they got. Because they're not going to go beyond this fucking realm. And they build a culture conducive to that. You see what I'm saying? So right now the Arabs are the people in Iraq and all, because they have some link to an ancient culture. It might not be much, but it's a remnant to say, hey, look, it ain't no big deal dying. Now, and it's not something that's so far-fetched, because they just came off a war with Iraq in Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying? They fought all of the 80s. So death is nothing to them. You see what I'm saying? This is, this is commonplace. But it goes beyond that type of aspect on how these people, you won't be able to defeat these people because the simple fact they have some type of remnants of what it would be like because they're not afraid of dying like we are. And that's the difference. That's the one little edge. You see what I'm saying? That they have. Because what can the white boy do? He can't blow up the earth with all this bombs and stuff like that because he'll defeat his own purpose. That means he's got to stand face to face and fight these people that have a culture that they have babies just for war. Now, I was talking to one of the Palestinians in 1988. He was over getting a master's degree at Clark Atlanta University, or Atlanta University at the time. And we sat up late at night and talked, and he said, shoot, one of my brothers died in Munich, Germany. And he said, my mama had 8 more children after he died. So you got a people that raise children just to be expendable in war. How can you fight against that type of thing? But here goes again, death is not the issue with them. They are not afraid of dying. You see what I'm saying?
The next question coming to us is, what happens when you die? In the context of you die, and when we say, like on earth, when you see the eyes, that man's gone. That man who's gone, what does he see, hear, experience? Is there pain? What's the next thing? What's the first thing on his agenda as he's going? So what happens when he dies?
It all depends on where your consciousness is. Or what type of death you have. There could be a painful death, and then there could be a death where, for instance, somebody can get knocked outside of their body so fast until they don't know they're dead. And they'll go home and knock on the door and nobody answers. About like what happened in the movie Ghost. You remember what's your boy in there? Patrick Swayze. And he didn't know he was dead at first. Because he got snatched out of his body so quick. And when he got home and all, he didn't realize why nobody wasn't recognizing him. And part of the movie, which was an excellent movie, you see, that came out in 1990, part of the movie was based on him trying to get a foothold on what happened when he died. Most people, when they first die, they'll go see this light. It's called the astral light. The astral light is the astral plane. It is set up to retrieve the soul, to get it trapped back in a cycle of reincarnation. So when you go towards the light, it is the astral light, which is the astral plane, which is ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, or the Devashanic plane is what it's called. It's ruled by the Deva spirits, the Orishas, or the Olympian spirits.
So now, are the Orishas, should we be walking, which this goes into the third question, which is, and we can merge these two together, as, the walking towards the light, should this, like in the 80s, from when I was a child, you always hear people with these death experience. I seen my family there. I seen uncles and grandfathers saying, come towards the light. So that that we can merge both of these questions together.
Okay, right.
Are they helping us?
No, those are souls that's trapped. Let me give you a pyramid structure of how this thing goes.
Okay.
You got 2 realms. You have the Devashanic plane, which basically snatched the souls up to get them ready for a cycle of reincarnation. Now that reincarnation can be 50 years, 100 years. The older the soul, the longer it takes to reincarnate. Younger, and especially those ones that don't have a soul, because you do have those people, they can reincarnate faster. So you can reincarnate faster. We'll give you what's going on here. It's being ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, the Olympian deities, the orishas, the divas, the shining ones, and their light is a prism. It's the astral light, and in so many words, they get you into this cycle of reincarnation, or what I would like to say, reincarceration. Doing time on planet Earth, reincarceration.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? This is the lowest plane. No one really needs to really be here or wants to be here that's got good sense, other than when you take on a human body. You are duped into being here because the first thing happens, which is so bad about it, is if you came back as an adult, you would understand the game. Hey, wait a minute. We're doing this shit over and over and over again. That's why they snatch you back into a small brain of a baby, which means that small brain is almost like a piece of oblivion. It's so dumb until it has to regain memory. And although it's regaining memory, and it has certain elements of the previous life, as it gets more and more morphed into the life that it is now incarnated in, that life basically diminishes or extinguishes the life prior to it. So the brain is developed to, number one, tap into, or number one, coincide with the life that it is reincarnated into, and give data and to basically notice the world that is encased in. But it's also developed to somehow suppress the previous life, which is only in the memory of the soul, which the connection of that soul is the pineal gland, the brain up under the brain.
Okay.
So in so many words, all this is a cosmic trick by a group of entities that only exist through your ignorance of your soul and your knowledge of the universe that gives them their energy. So in so many words, they exist through you. There's a story before H.P. Lovecraft, there was another guy by the name of Lord Doomsley that was having these dreams. For him, it was Bulwer Lytton was having these dreams. 1800, Lord Doomsley was the early 1900s, and he wrote a book called The Gods of Pegana. And he talked about how this great mother went to sleep, and these children in this particular case is these particular false beings. They're prisms. They don't have the power to be the gods of the universe or the gods of the omniverse. But they have the power to create an alternative world for themselves by trapping souls in those worlds, and those souls are being dumbed down based on some type of trap. That is the human brain that is developed from a child. So the gods of Pegana talks about, they have one particular god that is one of these children gods, and he beats this drum. And he beats this drum to keep a certain pulsation of sleep, you see, for not only the great mother who's in a slumber, but the children that's in a slumber. And should that beat ever stop, the old gods will wake up. You see what I'm saying? In this particular case, if you break it back down to the human physiology, it's talking about the brain. It's talking about the brain. Some of the Gnostic material, Bentley Layton's book will make mention about the children, but a book from the 1950s called Gnostic Religion by Hans Jonas gets into that particular, Gnostic Religion by Hans Jonas gets into that particular part about the children, the babies. And the babies. So in so many words, what I'm saying here, this is incarceration by a group of subordinate deities that gained a foothold on the earth and the universe or whatever, while the pristine deities went into a form of a hibernation.
So now, and this was
So that the demiurge. So that light that you go to is their realm.
So they're
tricking you into that, right? Right. To be free of them is to go to the dark, which is the realm of primal sleep.
Oh, okay.
Primal sleep. So they talk about this. When a man sleeps, he goes to his true self. The Quran says when a man sleeps, he is dead. You see, but it's a primal realm that inside, but also although it's a primal realm, when you're inside of this physical realm, it is so opposite this realm until you usually have fear of it, especially children.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Especially children. We'll get into that particular aspect.
I want to ask you this now, because you mentioned this, the Orishas
Yeah.
are part of the demiurge.
Yes.
Now, a lot of these brothers walk around, they want to tap into the Orishas.
Yes.
So are you saying the Orishas are
Yes, let me give you,
on our side?
Yeah, let me give you a brief history of that. You got Ola Dumare, who is this father, who is supposed to be the father, but he's more of a father of the astral plane. Legba, Ogun, Obatala, Shango have their hands on creating the earth. They shut Oshun out a little bit, but they have their hands on creating the earth. And in the concept of that, there's some pre-creation deities that are in opposition for them creating the earth. It's the same biblical story of, let me give you an example, the biblical story of Satan and his spawn saying, we're not going to bow down to man. You see what I'm saying? And God saying, you need to bow down to man. It's really a deeper story than that. We just get the edited myth, but if you get a greater mythology that the Jews have our stuff. There's there's a book by the name of Rappaport. It's called The Legends of Israel, and in there they have an extended versions of this thing. And you find out in actuality this is a cosmic drama that's being played between Satan and his angels and stuff. And the reason why they didn't want to bow down to man in this particular thing is a greater story. They didn't want to become man. So they was rejecting becoming into a physical body.
Right.
So bowing down was, get used to it, humble yourself, and be our slaves. But Satan just remembered, no, we not that. We gods of light.
Right.
But they had to get used to this particular physical body. Well, it's the same thing happened in this Orisha myth. The one you want to get is a book called Good and Evil. That's the name of this thing. It's called Good and Evil in Europe or something. I've said it on some of my things. It's a book by a guy that's dead now by the name of Margie. And in there they talk about this struggle between these gods that don't want to be in the human form, and they go to battle with a Legbar and these crew who created this particular earth for them to be into. And as a result, the Legbar and them ultimately wins. It's the same story, which makes the Legbar and them these demiurge type characters. They are Olympian deities. So if you want to get a better clarity, you compare this with the Titan story, or the Titans not wanting to be cast down, but Zeus strikes them with an arrow and burn them up and then use their ashes to make man. You see what I'm saying? Those Titans are pristine deities that rule the universe prior to the younger group of deities who are subordinate deities that want to create this box job wonder world for themselves by using the older material to trap them down in this thing. So it's the same thing, it's the same demiurge material. I would say so there's several myths, but one of them would be the Titan myth. You see, one would be the Gnostic myth and all, and even the Egyptian myth in the coffin text. In the coffin text, they talk about Ra being old and feeble. He invites all the gods to dinner and swallows them all up. So he said, how can he swallow all the gods up? It's the same story of basically taking these advanced entities, inviting them to dinner, and eating them up, which means in actuality he trapped them into the realm of the physical and slowed down the vibration rate or the vibratory rate to trap these gods in the physical. We got one little piece that survives in the coffin text. The other piece to give you the indication that something happened was Ra overthrowing Apep, the great dragon or form of the great mother. But then again, you have the pre-dynastic mythology going up into Babylon and surviving where Marduk defeats Tiamat, the great dragon or the great mother, and used her blood to make the earth, her husband's blood, Kingu, to make humans. So we're still talking about a pristine ancient deity being trapped in these physical forces by some younger entities, our children. You see what I'm saying? Our particular children. Going back into, because all this stuff coincides. You got to know about the demiurge and know about this death and know why we're trapped and know what happens after you die in the pitfalls. Right. So, so it's the same story. In East India, there are the Asuras, these pristine deities, that are more superior than the Devas. But the Devas somehow tricked the Asuras to lose their foothold on the earth and turn them into demons afterwards. Well, what is the turning into a demon? The turning into the demon is basically being trapped in a physical body. There's no difference between the word demon and human. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Being trapped in a physical body. So the Asuras got trapped and got duped into becoming humans by the solar divas who are their children. You see, who are their children. You see, same concept. Same concept of what's going on. So in so many words, when you die, you meet face to face up with this tragedy again on where your soul is going to go. If it's going to get reincarcerated back down here, or is it going to set up the land in the land of the shadows, which is those particular entities that were outside the cycles of time. You see what I'm saying? And were safe not to come back. Now, fortunately, maybe the last 20 years, or at least I know the last 15 years, most of the cycles of reincarnation have been broken. Most of the babies that come to this planet are souls that have been in transition for at least 50, 60, 70, 100 years. So they were in the cycle of transition, already coming back to the planet. But most of the ones now that expire are not trapped into the cycle of reincarnation. In so many words, this so-called astrolight or astral plane, because one of the words for the demiurge is called plane. So this astrolight or this astral plane has worn thin. It is petered out. It is petered out. You can tell based on the seasons being off. Is one of the indications, one of the indications and stuff. And so as a result, a lot of people have broken the cycle of reincarnation, and they don't have to come back. So that means it sets up some type of way station that was set up before the ultimate reality of all this stuff dissolving back into this new world. And as a result, we know the last couple of years, that particular way station has become an oasis. You see what I'm saying? It's become an oasis. They partying all night and all day. Right. And stuff like that. So they're partying all night and all day and stuff. And meanwhile, the demiurge, or these particular beings, have lost their foothold on the earth, and the only thing they're doing at this particular time is they're surviving through the ignorance of the people. So these people are doing mass rituals, not just orishas, but to the Christian aspect and the worship aspect of religions, and through religions, because even that Yoruba thing has become a religion. Right. They're doing all these mass worships and stuff, and in so many words, they're giving the demiurge their energy by keeping the demiurge alive, because the demiurge can only survive through the image or through the thoughts of man. In this case, the lower thoughts of man. Right. So in so many words, the demiurge is nothing but forms of ego that's outside of the body. You see, this is this ongoing monster. Now, this is interesting. Some people say, well, you know, well, what about astral traveling? And what about, because this is one that this one that is set up that is real key. You hear people say, ascended masters. But if the kingdom has not come yet, if the kingdom is not established, how can you have ascended masters? They have only ascended to the astral plane. You see, the matrix that we talk about, we know there's a physical matrix. What we don't understand here is the matrix has various levels of the matrix outside of the physical. And that's the astral plane, which is just basically the present universe A, is made up of several planes. And so also you can ascend and break, and some of those people can break a cycle where they don't have to come back to the earth, and they're thinking that they're in paradise in heaven. They only have ascended to a non-physical plane, but it is still a form of the matrix, illusionary phenomenon. That's why they talk about a holographic universe, Michael Talbot's book. You see, so it's still a form of a matrix.
Is this the universe A, universe B?
This is universe A. Universe B is beyond the wall of death. The shadows, the Kalipos, which is beyond the wall of Doth. Death and Doth is the same thing. You see, so you got the front side of the tree of life of the Kabbalah, and those particular spheres are still 10 luminous emanations. Emanations don't mean reality, it's just prisms of light or emanations. That is behind the tree through the doorway of death, which is the real world.
Right.
And they say that the back of the tree will rule in the last days or in the end. So this whole Kabbalistic system is nothing but various forms of the astral plane, which is set up to be some type of simulation of heaven beyond the physical world that has been in action or been illuminated since creation, but it is not the ultimate reality. So the Hermetic text says that you may think that the Father, right there letting you know it's something, that the Father of all nourishes everything in the universe. This is called, and they call it some form of Zeus, the great Father. They say, but it is not the ultimate reality of all there is to be. The ultimate reality is inner circle in the ground. Now, if you take the earth off of that and stuff, it's inner circle in the ground is nothing but the deepest part of your subconscious mind, the inner world. You see what I'm saying? The inner worlds. Now, when you die, it's based on your consciousness. You go, it's just this reincarnation cycle, because believe it or not, they're not really getting trapped in that now and stuff. That light can't hold them, so in so many words, although they might go to the light, they are still not being trapped in the reincarnation cycle. They're still ending up in the other world, which is the world of the dead, the kingdom of Osiris, because it is not strong enough to contain those souls. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you do die, so that means the only ones that's incarnation is the ones that's been reincarnated for thousands in that cycle. But the rest of the people are going to this particular world. You see what I'm saying? That this particular world, that is the world to come. Now, which is the kingdom of Osiris or the kingdom of death.
Right.
Now, it's set up like a pyramidal structure, and it's all based on your consciousness. So let's say if your family members who were just ignorant, good dead people,
Right.
when they go to that particular realm, they'll be amongst all kind of family members, and that's probably what you're seeing when you see the light. They'll be amongst all kind of family members, and that's a form of, and that's cool for right now. But then there's the next level. There will be the realm of people that have a little more consciousness. And then the highest levels will be the ones that will be ones with the gods. So let's take me and what I'm dealing with. I have been in this thing long enough until my first 10 years was this whole aspect of being a part of the knowledge, the gnosis, and figuring out, you see, figuring out all of this, or recalling all of this. My soul trying to figure out what it is to be that of a soul. The last 5 years, I have entered into a court where I'm one with the gods. There is no difference than me and the gods. As a matter of fact, through some of the women and the woman I'm with now, I have had sex with literally Lakshmi last week. I have had sex with Zuli. I used to have sex with her in 2002. And other cosmic beings. So in so many words, the only difference is I am annexed in this physical world, but I'm one with the God. So let's just say if I was to transcend right now, I would be in a higher heaven, in a higher heaven. I would be at the ultimate pinnacle of that. And then right up under there would be a group of people that's enlightened, that has a certain amount of knowledge. And up under that would be the dead motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? So it's a principality in that world. Now, ultimately, this is not a thing where all the souls have to wake up and we got to wait down here for all the souls. This will be a million years because the way the dumbest motherfucking niggas are.
Right.
And we 4 or 5 people that's enlightened, it's futile.
Right.
We are only opening the doorways that ultimately those entities won't even have to do that work. We're doing that work for them. So each one of us have representatives, and we are learning and trying to contemplate what is this? What is this journey? What am I doing? All the stuff you're going through, you got about maybe 1,000 people connected with you that don't have to do this because you were the representative doing it. About like sometime if somebody died way out in California and you ain't got enough money to send the whole family, you send a representative of the family. So we are representative of so many hundreds of dead folks. In the aspect of, when I'm saying dead, I'm not talking about the physical dead folks, I'm talking about people that's asleep is a good word for it. The people that's asleep. You see what I'm saying and all. The people that's plugged in. You see, so now on one aspect here, what we talk about here is, but in the ultimate reality is, we have done this work and we're doing this work in the ultimate reality through our initiations. We are actually bringing about a world where everybody at once, in a twinkling of an eye, as it says in the Bible, will be at this one state. You see what I'm saying? Or this one level of these return of these cosmic beings. How many souls there are down here? Right. Obviously, there are more people down here than it is souls. You talk about the original ones. But since we are the original people, we don't really have to worry about that. Right. And for whatever reason, people got down here, whatever type thing, they got to worry about that, no. But the point about it here is, we are doing the work for them so they don't have to take another 1,000 years of initiation to get where we are.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it'll still be one mind. It's like the Borg. You know, when they're assimilating shit, everybody motherfucker think alike.
Right, right.
And these individuals down here trapped in this physical, they don't really like that. You know, Captain Kirk and them is white boys and shit like that.
Right.
They don't understand the concept of one mind and stuff like that, but we have cultures. And it's not the same as somebody being these drone followers. We are individuals, but we're still a part of a collective.
An agenda.
You see what I'm saying? So we are individuals because we are creative beings. That's what melanin does. It creates. Never stops moving. But we still have a general collective. You see what I'm saying? A general collective. So that's whatever the deal is.
Yeah, that's some shit. Yeah, that's some very hot shit.
You know, you go back and decipher the shit.
Yeah. So the next question, and see, you're covering so much, I don't want to, repeat some of the stuff you covered, but we'll try to add some of them in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Before you ask that question, something that he was hitting on before I wanted to ask. Literally, these past 5 years, you've been having literal sex with Lakshmi.
And the other entities, yeah.
And that quickening, can I call it quickening? Is that not you, just like you mentioned in Ghost, being snatched out of your body so fast, where you're not looking in retrospect back on your life, and you can interface with some of your family members and like, damn, ain't nobody appealing to the real me. Right. And you can see it. And that's
well, that realm is just anybody that's in the consciousness. Yeah. That just comes with enlightenment, period.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about here, because that's what happened the first 10 years.
Right, right.
You see what I'm saying? What I'm talking about here is being so much in the realm of the gods until, in so many words, even people who wrong me now, all of a sudden now, is no different as them wronging a certain god. And unfortunately, it's so the point whereas, well, for them, is a lot of time I don't know nothing about it. It's just a motherfucker just get dealt with. And then I find out later. You know, it's like one guy, I was messing with this woman. I was messing with this woman a couple of years ago. And she wanted to move in my house. So it was on my birthday. We laying in the bed together. She said, "You gonna clean out that room?" So I didn't want to spoil my birthday.
Right.
By saying, "Hell no, motherfucker, you ain't getting up in my house." I said, "Yeah, babe, I'm gonna clean out the room. I'm gonna start Monday, just to make the birthday go right." This was my birthday of 2003, November 28, 2003. I said, because I want to move down. You got the son, I want to set up some business or whatever. I said, "Yeah, baby, because tell them what the hell they want." You know what I'm saying? And, the art of lying is a tool. 7 liberal arts of the mystery school. I don't know what they call it. They do it in court all the time. What they call it, the art of rhetoric or persuasion or manipulation. So anyway, I said, "Yeah, baby, you can clean. I clean out the room and all this." So that Monday when she got back to her home because she was from out of state, she said, "You gonna clean out the room?" I said, "No, I ain't gonna clean out no room." She said, "But you said," I said, "I lied." "Well, why you do it?" I said, "To keep the birthday going right. I want to have no damn party." But I had no intentions on doing it and stuff. You know what I'm saying and all? And for some women, they can't grasp the concept that they can be lied to just as much as a person, scratching their head and stuff. It was a tool to me. So meanwhile, there was another guy that was in love with her. And he wanted her to move in his house. And she called him up crying about how I wouldn't let her move in my house. And he would start player hating on me. And he's coming, "I'm going to go over there and kill this nigga and all. And I'm going to go and fuck this nigga up." Now, meanwhile, I don't know nothing about this. I'm hearing about this a month later, because this nigga now done made certain threats, and he's laying up in the hospital with 2 collapsed lungs. And I get a phone call because some psychic sister told this girl, you need to go call Bobby and tell him to try to stop what's going on, because these entities or demons is fucking this boy up. So they called me up, and I'm totally oblivious. I'm like, what? Who? What? What you talking about? So she has to recall the story on how she was upset that I wouldn't let her move in my house. And so she called this other nigga who wanted her to move in, and he was in love with her, and he started player hating on me. And as a result, it set up a motherfucking retribution or warfare or something, a confrontation with some deities was going to his ass, and I knew nothing about it.
Right.
But in that particular realm, in so many words, I was one with them. So him talking shit about me was the same as him talking shit about them.
Right.
And they went to this nigga ass, and I didn't know nothing about it. It was a month later.
Right. Ain't no more tapping in. You are it.
Right. You are it. So in so many words, that's the realm we're talking about here. The only difference here is I'm just annexed or an envoy to the physical. You see what I'm saying? But I'm actually in both worlds and stuff like that. No, you see. So that's so there's different levels. You know, different levels of protocol, different things based on where you are in your consciousness. Now, obviously, all the conscious people right now are at a certain lofty height, because just look at all the dead motherfuckers.
Right.
So that means you got to be, if not at the tip of the pyramid, you got to be somewhere in the upper room, because everybody is so dead. So there's different levels of this particular realm, but ultimately it's going to morph into one, because we are all doing the work. You see what I'm saying? And we all doing the work. You see. So we all students, or they say we are all becoming. You see what I'm saying? That particular aspect. Yeah, so it's pretty much how that particular aspect is. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, 10 years prior to that, I was in this struggle of obtaining this particular information. And it was just like one person used to say, man, you know, one sister said, shit, I went home for Christmas to Chicago. And I said, she said, it was a motherfucker, man. She said, it was almost like I had to take all this knowledge I have and suspend it, put it in a box, put it in a bag, and put it away to go amongst them dead folks. And she said, they damn near killed me, because you can't ever mention nothing to them about none of this shit. And she said, here it is, I'm in a whole nother world of enlightenment. Even trying to figure shit out is a form of enlightenment. See, when you find out that in actuality that you go into the pot of gold is the journey.
Right.
And if you don't have the enthusiasm of trying to just figure it out, you've lost the game. Right. The game is not necessarily to what's on the other side. The game is just being enthusiastic enough to just figure the shit out. Your sincerity is your credentials. You should get a high on trying to decode it all.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and in so many words, that is the journey. That is the completion of it all. So we are already there. We're just trying to remember. Connect the dots and put the puzzle back together. But just to be conscious of putting the puzzle back together
Is what it is.
is what it is.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's no different than you putting the puzzle together. You trying to find out what piece to match this green and this blue and all this kind of thing here. And you saying, man, I got a long way to go. I'm not there. But look at this little baby that's got the puzzle in their hand, and they ain't trying to put it together. They're trying to eat the motherfucker.
Right.
At least you're trying to assemble it, so already you've already won the game. This person here trying to eat it. You say, get that shit out your mouth. So that's the people that we call the dead folks. And that's the same thing what the agent was saying when he had Lawrence Fishburne locked up in the first Matrix. He looked out the window and said, you gotta marvel at it. All these people getting on with their everyday life, totally oblivious. And I'm looking at that saying, God knows, we live in the black community. We see this shit every hour. So we are actually already there. You see what I'm saying on that particular level. You know, and my point here is, because It don't have to be a struggle. See, when I did it, I had to damn near do it by myself. Now, but I realized one thing about it in retrospect, I was having fun doing it. So in so many words, this should be fun. It should be exciting.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It should be exciting. Like C. Freeman L. say, you should expect more things to happen to you. Any spiritual experience you have, you should look forward to that day. Even saying, was that experience, sometimes you have to ask yourself, was that a fucking moment? Was that a spiritual experience? And the more and more you look forward to those things happening, the more and more they become commonplace. Where it comes every hour. Even when shit fuck up, you'll go, you be cursing and stuff saying, damn, I missed that bus, I missed that train, I missed that person that was coming over. And then about an hour later, something will happen, you go, oh shit, had I gone, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have been able to do that. And you find out the whole time the shit was lining up for you. You see what I'm saying? And that's one thing what was going on right now with the white boy and his time. And they had a group of white people. I got the DVD, and the guy was saying, you know, you people, y'all like the Nazis. You so rigid with the time, the stuff and shit. You see what I'm saying? Until when this time starts to collapsing, you don't know what to do because it's not on your schedule. It's not what you trained for. And as a result, and so they said, what you going to have to do? So the white people in the audience, this guy was talking to him, because he's talking about this time speeding up. He said, what you going to do? They said, well, he said, well, you're going to have to be like the sports figures. Whenever, although you're looking at the time, and you're getting the damn, you know, sometimes, if you've ever watched a basketball or football game, it can be very frustrating. You know, the clock running out, and you're looking at the time, and these motherfuckers got to do the thing. They got the ball, or they got whatever, and you're going, oh, shit. You sweating? And they get it, and they make the perfect play. And the guy say, how do they do it? Because they are in the zone. They got into the zone. That means that is an alternative to mention that the team is going into this outside of your time. And that's how they make the play. And the only person that freezes on that court is the person that didn't go with the rest of the damn team. You see what I'm saying? Didn't go with the rest of the team. So that's what you got to do. You got to get into the zone. You see. So they are rigid culture. Everything got to be timed because they're not spiritual. So everything has to be calculated. Precisely this. Oh, do we want to do sex tonight? Put you down for an appointment. We want to do lunch? You understand what I'm saying? Whereas he was even talking about the Nazis that was that rigid, like that. They said they went down with Mussolini to the motherfuckers down in Italy. In Italy. And they went down to Italy. They went down to Italy, and Mussolini group of people, you know, the Italians, they are more of a tropical people. Half of them niggers. And they said they were trying to copy the Germans, and the motherfucker was about to die. They couldn't do it. It's just a matter of cultures. You see what I'm saying? Of stuff like that, no. But that wasn't, well, see, that's the calculation of the Germans, whereas our stuff is a little more, it's a zone that we have to get into and stuff. So that has a lot to do with it. I don't know where that was going, but it had to be put on there. Yeah, so give me another, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess it leads us to something that I guess it leads us to something that I heard a lot of even other lecturers speak about in this death life thing that we're experiencing, which is karma.
Yeah.
How does karma come into this whole scenario?
Okay. Two kind of karmas. The karma that most people are aware of, I'll just pass it. Most people are aware of. The karma that most people are aware of is a much more personal concept or an individual concept that's blown out of proportion.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it can't be no universal thing because the white boy bear witness, because if there was anything such as karma, he should have been off the planet.
Right.
But they have violated every damn law that lets you know that obviously, obviously this word, this thing that you call karma, doesn't apply. Because he has said, look, I have done everything on this planet in which you can say the word karma, which is nothing but the East Indian word for sin. You see what I'm saying? I have done everything that violate every law known to man that I should have been off this motherfucker. If it was based on you reap what you sow.
Right.
Well, the karma must love him because they sure got a long time coming when it come to him. Now, this is the problem. The karma that it was talking about had two aspects to it. It was an individual thing that you create in your own self based on your heart. You see what I'm saying? And it has an interaction with your soul and its relationship to the world around it and how you create your own reality based on what you do, a series of things that you do that lines up with your soul and where your soul is. You understand where I'm coming from? But this whole concept, so they took a individual concept of you mastering your own domain and turned it into a universal concept that if I step on this roach, I'm going to have karma. So they made it a damn, so what happened here is you got to understand the difference here. By the time it gets to the Buddhists or the Tibetans, they're separated from the original Vedic system by thousands and thousands of years. And although it can be 2,000 to 3,000 years ago that these concepts got blown away, it's still a late concept and a degraded concept compared to the original inception of this shit. And so we're looking back to something that's 2,000 years old and going, well, it must be the truth because it's old. No, that's young. It might be old to you, but compared to the original concept, it was separated down there 10,000 years. So that means it's a degraded form that got out of hand and stuff. So by the time the Buddhists come, they're separated from the original concept down there 10,000 years. Because the original ones is Cushite that come out of Ethiopia. But even when it settled that particular land of India, it was thousands and thousands of years before the time you get the Buddhist concept, which is nothing but their form of fundamentalism, moralism. So they took this individual concept of something highly metaphysical, that the cause and effect of your own self, and put it on this shit as a universal thing of karma like sin. And the shit is fake. It doesn't exist.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? And it only exists on the individual level. You make that. But on the other hand, if you are aware of it and simply understand that you have the choice to say there ain't no karma, and by you being the god of that, guess what? The cause and effect don't apply to you. You can kill who the hell you want.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all based on what you're programmed to do. Now, if you're programmed that this thing is going to be detrimental to you, then guess what? Your soul and your subconscious mind acts upon it, and so therefore, you have sinned. You have this karma on you. But if you don't have those particular concepts, because you know the higher truth, then you understand that in actuality they don't apply to you. So in so many words, going back, there's this demiurge crew that want to rule with a tight fist. And what they have done is they've gone in and they have lied. Now I know this for a fact. I have had, based on channels, entities come and tell me flat out lies. That's why one thing that you should do when you channel, number one, you should pick a deity that is on your side, that is on your corner. And you should always ask that deity. You should never ask the question in a channel or a psychic phenomenon with a deity that you don't know. Or just put it out there. Because it can be thousands of entities that will come down. Some of them, your enemies, to tell you a lie and steer you away. There was one sister was excellent, psychic. She said, oh, no, I just asked the universe. I'm like, you damn fool. You know how many motherfucking idiots is in the universe and thugs and cutthroats? Motherfuckers that you call gods is in the universe because they don't have a physical body.
Right.
They still can communicate with you. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry about it. Hey, we rolling. It's the knowledge, not, you know. And, you know, if a person that superficial, this chair is more important than the energy and the stuff that we're giving out. They are really not there yet. So that's a checkpoint to see, you know, whether you there or not. So, and I said, you know, are you crazy? You have to pick a specific deity or a principality, what side that lines up with your soul, because you got people that lie to you. And so therefore some of these concepts get muddled, and it's in this information that was wrong channels because there were some deities that want to put a group of people on lockdown. And then all of a sudden karma becomes just like sin. You step on a roach, then you in trouble. In that particular case, just like the sin, why even be down here? Because everything you do is wrong. But then again, these same people understood Maya and understood if this is an illusion, how could karma apply any damn way in an illusion? Something that's not real.
Right.
And the only reality is what your subconscious mind makes reality for you. And it's a series of programming. It's no different when Neil was jumping off the building and he fell. And when he fell and bounced and hit and splattered on the thing, the problem was is in his mind, he was programmed to when you fall, you're going to get hurt. So when he fell, you see what I'm saying? That's what happened. It was only when he could program his mind to say this is only an illusion that he was able to fly by the next movement. And it was the same thing what happened when the guy said, he said, why did I beat you? He said, you better than me. He said, do you think this surrounding have anything to do? He said, you don't understand. Your problem is not in your technique. It is in your mind.
You think that's air you breathing.
You think that's air you breathing? I can free you. I can take you to the door, but I can't free you. You understand? Well, it's the same concept with this particular karma. It's something that was created to trap you mentally, and you are trapped in it, and guess what? You create that karma because you were trained that this, I've done something wrong and I got to pay for it. And so your spirit be like, okay, you got to pay for it. Why? You say, well, I got to pay for it. Well, motherfucker, you are the one that's creating it. You're the power that does. So if you want me to kick your ass butt, then that's what's going to happen. That's what I'm going to do. I'm only following you. So if you want to be programmed to be free from this shit, then program in some stuff to say, that don't apply to me. And you know what's interesting? I've been dealing, because I can say this because I've been dealing with the spirit world. And I'm talking about advanced spirits, because I'm fucking them.
That's right.
They have never came to me and said, Bobby, shouldn't drink that liquor. Bobby, you shouldn't curse. You know what I'm saying? Bobby, you shouldn't curse. You know what I'm saying? Bobby, you shouldn't talk behind that person's back like that.
You shouldn't eat that fried food.
Well, yeah, shouldn't eat that fried food. They will never say something on that particular level. But then again, on the other hand, eat some berries. And stuff. But that's moralism. Now, on the other hand, on the physical realm, you could eat some shit to get your, you know, some shit to start rumbling in your ass a couple of hours later. But that's just a physical aspect. But then again, hell, you created that. You could either eat it, or you can drink some elixir and tell them y'all handle that. And stuff like that, or something like that. And that's in your mind. It's like the sister Linda that I'm with now, she used to say, hell, she said, sometimes I didn't even have money to go get all these vitamins. So I had to program my mind that this shit was not going to hurt me, and as a result, she said, I don't take no medicine or none of that shit, because even that is a goddamn hoax.
Right. It's going to change.
I say goddamn.
That's the whole thing.
You got to do it before you eat it.
It is.
Because if you put it up in there and it might be the wrong shit and you ain't aware of it. Okay, right. You on? You know, you got to do it. So it's like magic. I have physically said, this is not going to bother me. I have sent a message to my body, and I ate the shit. And then sometimes I've eaten some shit like that and didn't do the magic on it and damn near killed myself.
Whoa.
You see what I'm saying? Damn near killed myself and all.
So it's all about your level of
It's all about your level of consciousness and your mind.
You have an example of that? Like eating something, getting warnings about food, and eating something?
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you this particular part right now. Let me tell you this particular thing. I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday, but I'll tell you this particular thing about Linda, the sister I'm with now, Babylonia. She used, from the time we met, she said, you know, you can't be doing like I do. And I said, why? She said, I'm poison. She said, you seen the character on the last Batman movie? Poison Ivy? She said, I can do that kind of shit. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm on that level. Well, we know this can happen even in ecology when they say, you live, the Aborigines, you live outside. They'll tell if they see a bug on the baby's food, they'll let the baby eat the little tick of the bug because they're getting the body immune to the environment. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing mentally. You see what I'm saying? She said, don't do what I do because I'm poison. I can do these things.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's a form of a mindset. Now let me explain what happened as far as this thing here, as far as being warned about something, you got to look out for some things. So.
And what's the esoteric meaning?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me give you the context. All this stuff is we're still in battles with forces. So prior to coming to New York, not prior, before I came to New York, what happened was I got a call from California. And a sister said, be careful what you eat when you go to New York. She said she was getting fish. Linda, about 2 days before she went, I cleaned out real good. Cleaned out a lot. Because what happens on the plane, the bowels lock up. You know, you see what I'm saying? And I cleaned out a lot. So she said, you know, you better clean. So I cleaned out. She said, whatever you do when you get there, don't eat no beef. Eat no beef. Which is two things that's going on. Number one, it was a channel on one level. For one thing, I'll tell you that in a minute.
Yeah.
She said, don't eat no beef. And what it was is she was getting this thing that the demiurge, whatever the information I was going to deal with, the tsunami, the Congolese rice, or whatever the thing, the demiurge at this particular point, they on their last leg, and so they're going to try to block shit. Even down to the videotape in the lecture. So she said, don't eat no beef. So I made it clear one day and all, and so I went over that little shop across the street, and I was looking at stuff, and they had some lasagna up in there, and they had some broccoli. And I got some broccoli, I got some lasagna, and I got just some rice with vegetable and rice type thing. And I was eating, and and it was fine, and right before I was supposed to go on, I poured libation, and my stomach started killing me. And that's when he said, we're going to take a break. And I was saying, thank God. And I'm saying, what? And I told the sister to bring me back a ginger ale. I might need to burp. The spirit said, no, you need to go eliminate, or you got to do something right now. She said, because whatever you done ate, it was an attack. And I thought about it. I said, oh, my God, at the bottom of the lasagna is ground beef. She told me not to eat the beef. And so what it was is the demiurge needed something of a low level to go into so they can attack me. And so I had to go up on the second floor, go in there, and I know how to bend over, drink 2 glasses of water, and bend over, and there's a pump that cuts on, and you vomit it out. Now it's a development, it's a chakra. Now, I didn't know what it was. To give you some, I didn't know what it was, but when I was a vegetarian, I used to eating that fucking tofu.
Yeah, that's soy shit.
I started throwing up, and I would eat it fried, hard like chicken.
Yeah, right.
And that was just pure plastic.
Right.
And I started throwing up, and as a result, when I was throwing up, my third eye started pulsating. And I said to myself, wait a minute. There's something to this. I didn't know until about 4 years later. See, that was 96 when this thing started happening. It was in 98 when C. Freeman L. was sitting around, you know, he's in the L of metaphysical, and he said, you know, we was talking about something, and I said, man, I had to throw up last night. He said, throwing up is good. He said, there's a nozzle up under there, and you can develop that nozzle, and it's like a chakra, and it opens up. And a lot of spiritual people, like a guy Juju, she said, when something ain't right, he can throw up at the instant. Some people got to stick their finger. So I developed this nozzle. I drink 2 glasses of water. When I bend over, it cuts on this nozzle, and I throw up. But when I was throwing up, I went to another level. I'm like, my third eye was pulsating. So now, I went upstairs and I threw up whatever it was. And I got it out of me, went back and cleared my stuff out with the ginger ale and stuff, and I was fine. I was fine. And they was trying to attack me, but they had already called 2 days before, and I slipped. But what it was is I didn't register. Now, the other thing was they was trying to send a message, this too, because 2 things happened. One was the attack from the demiurge who was going to try to attack me in the election. The other one was a message to tell motherfuckers at this particular time you can't be fucking with no beef because they're getting ready to run this mad cow shit on America. They're going to fuck motherfuckers up. Because they got the shit in Canada. They announced 2 weeks ago that it's in Canada. So in so many words and stuff, and it was interesting here because some brother came by and they left 2 frozen steaks on our door. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Some guy, one of my friends.
Right.
And Linda looked at that shit. She said, I ain't eating that shit. I said, but they hard as a brick. Ain't nothing. It's not like they spoil or nothing. But she was channeling. Hey, man, that shit is out now because and it might not have nothing to do with those steaks, but it has something to do with a message. They're getting ready to run this mad cow shit on the niggas here and all because they got to stop motherfuckers. And like you just said, they said what? But a hamburger has 1,000
different calories based upon the White Boy movie, Super Size Me.
Yeah. It has 1,000.
The fact that they let that movie out is a warning about
1,000 different cows in one hamburger.
One hamburger has 1,000 different calories.
And the whole reason, and look, this cracker here, so how they got down mad cows, what they do? They started feeding the cows, dead cows in their feed. And bones and shit, and feces. You see what I'm saying? And the feces. So that's so your spirit will give you a warning on doing some stuff like that. And the other thing here is your mind. So my point is, there is a way that, yes, you do have to be mindful of what you eat. But then again, on the other hand, you can't read every box in America. Some things you're going to have to go to another level. To give you an example of my brother. My brother is the super vegan. They don't eat nothing but berries and nuts and grains and barley and twigs. We don't know what they eat. Berries. I don't know what they eat. And that nigga ate some rice one day and almost died. And what was the metaphysical thing about it? He had programmed in his mind that 98% of everything on the earth was going to be detrimental to him until it was not the actual food. Now, this the nigga used to lick ketchup off the goddamn street when we was young. I've seen that nigga lick some ketchup off the street.
Crazy.
So I know it's the psychological thing. The nigga used to be the sausage's best friend. You know? I mean, we used to piss in Mountain Dew bottles and say, hey, Mama brought you a Mountain Dew, and give a motherfucker the bottle.
You're in therapy. You're in therapy.
Just a nigga to drink the piss.
You're in therapy.
Take the bottle, put it in the freezer, get the frost on it, go pee in it, and open it. May not be open, and give a nigga a cold Mountain Dew in this piss. We used to do shit like that. We was notorious. It was 3 of us. We was notorious when we was young with that kind of shit. But so I'm just trying to say, I said, wait a minute, man. And so he had programmed his mind that everything was wrong until a woman went in the house and painted her fingernails. He would break out in hives. And I said, look, man, you have gone into that zone, man, and it's all based on your mind. So on one aspect, yes, you're supposed to be mindful of what you eat because we know this motherfucker got poison shit out here. You see what I'm saying? And all, but then again, on the other thing, you got to condition your mind because all this stuff, as you think, so are you. You know, as you think, so are you. And that's how the whole thing is, you see. So that's one particular one. Give me some, what's that? Go ahead.
Like, at the lecture yesterday, you was talking to me about me getting my food from this, that Mexican joint.
Yeah, that's the one I ate at. That's the one that fucked me up.
That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying, based on that.
But I had some food from there, and he was telling me about it during the lecture, and I was like, shit, I'm God, man. Whatever I put my mind to. I already pre-programmed myself. Usually I always carry some stuff out of the house. Matter of fact, I eat before I go anywhere.
Yeah.
So when I bought the food, my whole mindset was, this may be poison. So watch out for this shit.
Yeah, well, that's the concept.
I'm like, yeah.
If you don't slip, you can do it. But at this particular thing, I was pre-warned not to eat the beef.
Right. So
So sometimes you'll get a warning that there's going to be an attack through this. It can come several ways. You see what I'm saying? And sure enough. But then luckily I had developed the experience, developed the knowledge on how to throw up at will in a couple of seconds. Otherwise I'd have been fucked up. Because it was straight up food poisoning. Because my stomach wasn't settled until I had to go to, and I came back in and had to throw up again just to eliminate the food so that they could work on me that night. And I took the elixir and they worked through the night and got my shit up to code.
And that's what I'm saying. It never bothered me. The whole time, it never bothered me.
You see.
I'm Christian.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Give me some, what's the question? Yeah.
So the next one, I guess we could go to this is, where do white people go when they die?
Okay, it's interesting because, you got two aspects. You got those white folks that in their gene pool there's a black element, so that means they have a soul. So we're talking about the hybrid that doesn't have a soul. You see what I'm saying? Where do they go? Well, obviously, they go to a form of the astral plane. They don't go where our ancestors go, and I noticed even in astral traveling. One brother about 10 years ago was astral traveling. He said he left his body and he went to the astral plane. And he said he was in a room full of white folks. He said, oh shit, what the fuck? He said, and then after a while, a black figure stepped through the dimension of the white folks and grabbed his hand and pulled him into a whole other world of black folks. So obviously there's two worlds. And the reason why we know that, because if you get books like the Theosophical Society used to put out these little books called, you can get them up at the Quest bookstore, which is a Theosophical Society's bookstore. And they got some little books called Astral Plane, Devashanic Plane, Buddhic Plane. And they talk about all this type of stuff. And when you start reading it, you'll find out that they are low planes, and they are on the subplanes of our lowest planes. Even though we're caught in the matrix, which is all planes and all illusionary phenomenon, they are on the subplanes of our lower planes. So in so many words, they are on a semi-animal plane, because remember, the ones that was created as a hybrid have animal parts. Like they said, it was created with all kind of shit. It was a lab experiment. We talk about the ones that was created and grafted. So they're on animal planes and stuff, and we know this and stuff. Two things how we know this. We know this when black people come in contact with white folks and start screwing white folks. And this is when you know. I had a friend, he said he was in the Nation of Islam. And he said he sold the most amount of tickets a nigger could sell for Minister Louis Farrakhan when he came down to Atlanta. So they were like, oh, brother, this is so divine. You sold all these tickets. It's great. What do you want, brother? He said, well, I wore out a whole pair of fucking gaiters to do it. Because they got to be sharp out there. He said, all I want to do is meet the minister, shake his hand. Oh, no, brother, you can't do that. Because it's a hierarchy. You know, that bullshit in the aspect of, hey, since when did you get to the point where, as this brother here, you're supposed to be one nation, he can't shake the man's hand? That's when you get into that elitism, and that's that whole cult thing. He said, oh, fuck that. You mean to tell me I done sold 1,000 tickets, and I can't shake the man's hand? You can't get me close to the man to shake his hand? Oh, no, brother, we can't do that, man. He said, so he waited until halftime, till the minister got on the stage, and he said he walked out and got in his car and left. Never went back. That's one aspect. He said, but he started fucking with this white girl. After that, because he was disenfranchised. And he said, he's screwing a lot of, but he was screwing with this white girl. And he said, he's fucked with her about 6 months, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, and he's 6 to 8 weeks, he said. He said in that whole time when he was messing with her, he was always sick. So obviously, sleeping with her put him in, because we're talking about astral planes and different levels, and it put him on a very low plane. Now, you know that right now. It's about like eating pork or something when you done ate some shit that's very low and fucked up food, or some type of chemical shit. You ever ate something that's chemical and the shit ain't even real, and you go around the whole day and you can't get this shit off of you? You see what I'm saying? Well, it was the same thing. He was always sick. Now, what happens here is, we know this happens because this. To give you an example, I'll give you one example. You got your girl, they already know. Tiger Woods, he won the Masters in '97. They went and got that nigga coat from behind the chair on the floor. They put his shit on the floor and gave him his jacket from behind the chair on the floor. The next year, they changed up the golf courses on him. Took him about a year to get back right, but when he got his game with that nigga won the fucking British Open, the USO, he won all these Open. He just totally obliterated the game. So, for 2 years at the Masters, they poisoned him. They poisoned him this year, and they poisoned him the year before last, and the nigga so dumb and stupid, he ate a sandwich both years out of the commissary there and got sick. They poisoned the nigga. So, they said, we got the ultimate trick for you. That nigga ain't been winning ultimately because he got that white woman. And it's done taken him to a lower level. The Serena and Venus, they ain't winning now because they got them white boys. Now, I know this for a fact. 10 years ago, this was 11 years, summer of 1994, my brother went to these people down in South Carolina. They was in the Europe, and they did a lot of readings and stuff. And the people told him, said, something about the male members in your family that has passed on. You got to do something with them. And so he said, okay, well, whatever. He didn't pay it no attention. So about 2 months later, I was getting this reading, and one of the sisters like saying, look, something about a male members in your family. I said, well, narrow the shit down. Anyway, it was my father that needed help. That needed help to get to a higher plane. Now, my father died in 1970, just like the Osiris thing. My mother had 3 of us, 60, 61. I was the middle, and 62. And she hauled us back to South Carolina. They had a disagreement or whatever. She hauled us back to South Carolina and started teaching school and left him out there. They were married or whatever, left him out there. So in the course of that, you know, he was doing what he was doing out in California. And at the end of the 60s, he hooked up with this white woman. He had a best friend that got together, and him and the white woman conspired with each other against him, and they killed his ass and threw him in the river, just like the Osiris shit. expert swimmer, all that shit. Okay. That was 1970, so this would be 1994, which would be 24 years. This Negro called us to help him, and me and my two brothers and my mama had to build an altar, a certain altar, to lift this nigga up, because this nigga was trapped on a very low plane, a subplane, because he was fucking with that damn beast before he died, and he was trapped down there on some animal plane or some low-ass plane, and we had to get that motherfucker up off that plane. Now, I'm talking about through experience.
Right. Fucking with white folks.
Fucking with that white girl.
So
before he died.
Fucking around with these white girls.
And he was trapped down there for 24 years on a low plane. Outside of our plane, some low-ass plane, because who knows what that some of that clump of pus was made out of.
So now, what is he experiencing on this lower plane?
He was in some type of hell. Some type of loneliness, animal, whatever. But it was unnatural to him. And we had to do something, and when we combined the four altars together, we got him up out of there. We got him up out of there. So I do know they're the lowest levels of our subplanes. You see what I'm saying? We talk about something that is not even a people. It's some type of android. You see what I'm saying? Two Bob.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like that now. You know, now, you know, like I said, now they got, what they say, 2% to 3% that are black. They just incarnated in white gene pool or whatever type thing. And you can pretty much tell, even some of them you can tell by the skin color, some of them you can tell by their aura. They got mannerisms like black folks, they got a shine to them like black folks. And you can tell, some of them got life. You can tell when some got life and some don't. You see what I'm saying? It comes out in talent. A lot of times and stuff like that. It comes out in humane acts or whatever. You see what I'm saying? It comes out in the booty or whatever type thing. You see, so I'm just trying to say, you do have that, but we talking about this mutanoid caucasoid.
Right.
You see? You see that thing. Robotoid. Crackazoid, mutanoid caucasoid. That's it.
Right.
You see? You know, yeah. Give me some questions.
All right. So now, I often hear, if we want to call this thing a circuit, you know, everybody death and destruction to Western civilization.
Yeah.
I want this shit over. You know, right. that's the anthem. You know, I want this shit over. So
right.
This paradigm ended all at once. No more Earth.
Yeah.
No more Earth.
Yeah.
What would we expect to see? And you know, if there was a mass transformation, what would we all expect to see? And what will we do next in terms of the next paradigm? What's our next choice?
Okay. Well, let's deal with one of these questions. It's just like those elephants the other week that broke their chains and headed for the hills for the tsunami. But had enough sense to come back after the shit was over because they was domesticated.
Right.
And they knew that wilderness was not for their ass.
Right.
Well, in so many words, with this white man and the way he got the grip on the world with his technology or whatever the shit is, we have gone a buttonhole lower as human beings, whereas if this thing is not over and the white boy got up out of here, I don't want to even see this kind of world because it's going to be like the Road Warrior where you just see just people just killing each other and doing all kind of things because we have been made fucked up because of him. But it's not made for that. None of, and I want to get this right because a lot of the people still don't understand. We got in this Afrocentric thing and they think that we going to just go back to Africa and be free and the white man going to be going off the planet. It ain't like that. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We talk about the metamorphosis stage, and I talk about this over and over in my lectures. A caterpillar goes into a cocoon not to become a caterpillar, but become a butterfly. And in so many words, they say that this realm that we are on, you have a child, you have an infant, you have a child, you have a teenager, and you have a young adult.
Right.
In this level that we have been on is been in humanity, although we have grown people. I'm talking about in the black, this was outside of white people. It was almost like our teenage years. It was almost like our teenage years. Humanity is yet to go into its adult stage. The process of creation was something that was left unfinished. The adult stage is a metamorphosis out of the physical. We're still, no matter how hideous it is, was in a cocoon stage. So now, as it has to do with the oldest people on the planet, we are not going back to live in the physical as ancient Egyptians. If it was that way, we would have never fell in the first place. Right. So that meant it was only a shell, a process, and an experience that was never supposed to be the ultimate reality. They spent the most of their years preparing for a world to come, and all of the material that we have now is talking about that same world to come, and is the basis of all religions. Even the lowest religion you can find still talks about an end to this shit. You see what I'm saying? They might scare you about the hell, which in actuality is this shit we living in now. You see what I'm saying? They confused it, but still yet all of it, everything we have ever gotten on every evolutionary phase of spirituality talks about a new change of state.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not something far-fetched than how we change state going from life to death. Right now, something is so important to you right now, why is it can be a day later, you can get hit by a car, and a motherfucker be out there giving away your books, giving away your TV, giving away your whole fortune. You got some people that spend 30, 40, 50 years building an empire. And their children come around and get rid of the empire, spend all the money and get rid of the empire in a matter of damn years.
Right.
Matter of months. I know some niggas got a left house, car, bank account, everything. Endless amounts of material things to sustain themselves for the rest of their life. And 6 months later, niggas gonna have shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hell, I know a nigga got $100,000 and damn near drank it up in liquor. You see what I'm saying? You see, now the point I'm trying to make here is the state that we're talking about. Where you at on them lectures? Where are you at?
We got about one more good one after this, but
okay, yeah, okay, okay.
Paper. That's just what's on
okay, the state that we're talking about here. Two aspects of it. If we did know the ultimate reality, it wouldn't be no fun of trying to get there. It's got to be something, like they say, ultimately it's never been done before. See, I'll give you some of my states of initiation. I was doing some stuff, and I went to a certain level. And I said, well, I completed this. Let me go to the next level. And let me go to the next level. And somewhere around 2001, I started getting in a certain gray area to when somebody was asking me, well, what next? I said, I don't know. It's never been done before. We are creating as we go along. Now, on the other hand, it's kind of hard for us to contemplate what it is to be a true God and goddess. It's about like a dog. He might say, well, let's say if a dog is going to turn to human tomorrow. He might have an idea what it is to be a human. But it might be his idea of a dog's idea to be a human. So let's say a dog say, you know, I don't have the means as a dog to go get Alpo for myself. But when I become a human, I could walk to a refrigerator and have Alpo all the time.
Even a child. Even a child to an adult.
Even a child to an adult.
They don't have any idea.
They don't have idea. They will go, well, you know, when I get grown, I'm going to have ice cream every day.
They think food coming from the refrigerator.
They think food is coming from the refrigerator. They think a baby is coming from the doctor or whatever. You understand the concept here? So the dog might say, well, I'm going to have Alpo every damn night from the refrigerator or whatever. Motherfucker, you won't even be eating goddamn Alpo if you are a human. So it's hard to fathom what it is. We can only go by what was left behind of people who have gone to certain levels and left all this, chronicle all this stuff here. But I want to say this before we go further than that. It's almost what I heard 10 years ago or 11 years ago, where we fall short and always getting fucking exploited by white folks and getting killed, because even when it comes to us, we think that white folks are humane like us. And it's hard for us to fathom how a monster functions or a sociopath. A sociopath is a motherfucker, no matter what they do all over the world, they don't think they did nothing wrong. And this is the white race. They might say, we have sociopaths in our race. No, motherfucker, your race is sociopath to other races.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So they say, you can't even fathom the mind of the white man. It's such an alien to you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why we always get trapped. We always thought that the white man think like us. I'm quite sure that Michael Jackson always thought that he could fuck them little boys and get let off the hook like a Woody Allen or any other fucking freak they done had out in Hollywood and don't understand. You a damn nigga. You see what I'm saying? And we get caught in the same shit all the fucking time. I just want to throw that in there. Anyway, going back. We only can imagine, but I can say this, and this is the greatest explanation that came to me. Take the mythology of Horus, Shiva, Vishnu, Aset, Osar, or anybody that you have admired as a high god. I'll break it down to superheroes. Because Heru and hero is the same thing. So let's say any of your Superman, well, Batman is a human with gadgets and shit.
Right.
Superman, the Hulk, or whoever got these extraordinary superhuman powers. And apply that to yourself. So your God, the one that you have applied, you would want to think that the God that you worship can do damn near anything, because he's God. Well, you take the same motherfucker that you did to conjure up what you thought God was and apply it to yourself. And that's some powerful shit. Like I said, one of my shit is I'm going to become a damn orgasm for a damn 1,000 years. But then again, let me break this down. I was saying that. Now, I was saying that 5 years before I broke into the tantric aspect and really found out what an orgasm is. Whenever you have that orgasm, you are actually going into another dimension, and you're dwelling with the gods for a few minutes before that dimension closes back up. So in actuality, that is the euphoria of what a god is like. Goddamn.
Right. I say goddamn.
Rich talks about that all the time. I shade.
You see what I'm saying? That is that glimpse into the divine is what you're actually experiencing or whatever. You see what I'm saying? I just hope that that motherfucker don't get old on the other side. But then again, on the other hand, I don't see motherfuckers trying to come back here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So just to give you some type of concept, and it's almost as to say, it can be what your fantasy is. Anything that you ever wanted to do, or ever wanted to be, or anything you ever wanted to do, you understand what I'm saying? You create it in your mind. So you might be a god, but you might have a fleet of Mercedes-Benz. But I'm quite sure a god ain't really worrying about that. Because that's the dog again thinking it's a human. But I'm just trying to say here is whatever it's going to be unimaginable.
Right.
What he's telling you
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
There's going to be 2 more questions.
You know, unimaginable from this and on. So give me the other question.
All right, there's going to be 2 more questions. And
Yeah.
the last one I just came up with, I think a lot of people are going to want to hear. But before we go to that one more thing that we kind of know is we all know this shit is a phenomenon. And I want you to speak on this a bit. Why are kids scared? Jazz was talking about this, and this was what brought this question. Why are kids, no matter where you at on this planet, scared of the dark?
Okay.
No matter where you go, there's always something.
And you saw it in 2 movies. The new one is Darkness. They said, well, if we can harness the fears of the children from that primal fears of the children, we can bring on the dark realm. The other one was in the movie Monsters, Inc., where the monster was trying to frighten the child to power up the monster's world from the child's screams. Well, whatever it is a form of the primordial realm that is so alien from this realm until the child is caught, that the child has access to because it has not long left that primordial realm, that has found itself now in a realm where that is not conducive to the realm, but it's a child that just came from that, so it has a complete memory other than us where that is closed up. So it is experiencing the dichotomy of this realm, which is not conducive to the darkness of the primordial realm, and it's having its whatever aspect of trauma and how it reacts. It hadn't adjusted. It hadn't adjusted. But it's just come from that realm, so it has access to that realm, but it has to adjust to this realm, which this realm is totally alien from that realm.
Now, would it be any demiurge type thing trying to scare him out of the darkness?
It could very well be certain entities that's trying to get them to forget or fear that realm that they just came from, which was set up a lifelong struggle
with shit in the closet, shit around
with the darkness, because this thing follows some people into adulthood.
Right, that's right.
They can only live in the dark if they got somebody living with them.
Need night lights and shit.
Need night lights, or they need a husband, and it happens a lot of times. And here it is too. It happens a lot with women because women are very spiritual. But even with adults, and so you got a lot of grown people scared of the dark.
Right.
So my point here is, but obviously there was some type of entity or some type of demiurge that's trying to get them to be afraid of the dark because they don't want them to develop a fondness with it.
Of the dark.
Because if you got too many people developing a fondness with it, then they can see the dichotomy of how this motherfucking shit ain't shit. But why is it that women who are more spiritual, when they want to have sex, they can have sex with complete black because they're feeling from another world. And with me, man, I want to see something visual. That's because we are more in this world. So I want to see some titties. That's our enjoyment. That's why we, you know what I'm saying? Our enjoyment, you know what I'm saying? I want to see her face when she has an orgasm. We get into the visual aspect, and sometimes that's our shortcoming. Because when the visual aspect becomes old, you see what I'm saying? We done fucked up in the head and we don't want the relationship no more. Whereas the sisters they get past that from thing. They be like, cut out all them lights.
Exactly.
Because they're experiencing your essence. You see what I'm saying? And they have gone back to the dark. So we can just see that in sex. You see, we can see that in sex. Where the whole aspect from belly dancing to erotic dancing in the ancient world to lap dancing in the modern world is all still centered around men. You know, we don't have a history of us gyrating in front of no damn woman and shit, because ultimately a man is ugly. And a lot of women say that men are ugly, but a lot of women do this too. a lot of women say that it is in a man's eyes and his face in which they're mostly attracted to. I heard a survey of a lot of them. All the body stuff, well, most people are not built like that out here and stuff where you done had to do all that old bodybuilding shit. And that really don't hold them. It's the eyes, because why? The eyes is the window to the soul.
Oh, that's right. And that's what they looking at.
That's what they looking at. It's the pretty eyes or whatever. It's the window to the soul. And that means if you can stare at them the right damn way, you see what I'm saying? You can mesmerize yourself. Or you can get this certain look on your face, you know what I'm saying? It's a damn tool. But why is it that they're captivated by the face? Because they're looking at something beyond the face. They're looking in your eyes, which is the window to the soul. So these are a lot of things that we have to deal with on that particular level. You see what I'm saying? But I just noticed this stuff. They like it dark. And as a matter of fact, too much light interferes with the shit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like that and all, you know. Sometimes I just like, you know, just see the nice body or see whatever the thing he is, stuff like that. Even when I got to a spiritual level and I started looking for flaws. You see what I'm saying? I started looking for flaws. Because like I said, I went from a level of the sister that I had for 7 years. When I was 31, I met a sister that was 20. So I was 11 years older than her. And it was all based on you. Firm breasts, all that. She's 20. And then so whenever we decided to part, which was a spiritual agreement, we both had ended it. The cycle had ended. And I was 38, and I was into the realm where I ended up being in a category where all the people that opened up was 40 plus. So the 40 plus on down to 20 or whatever, but mainly I was more interested in that. I started loving to see the seasoned age. You see what I'm saying? So my shit was getting erect on not the firmness, but the sags. The feet in the sags. And the weight. Whereas the biggest treat was gigantic.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, not gigantic. She was
Voluptuous.
She was voluptuous and deeply heavy.
That's right.
She wasn't obese. Like she wasn't a motherfucker like, you know, the Dick Gregory got to come in there because she can't get out of the damn bed. No, but she was healthy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see, so the point I'm trying to make here is, it's still visual, and it just went to another level, and my field widened. You see what I'm saying? Widened. The young girl, I like the young girl, but that's the young girl. But then again, I like this older woman for being older. I want this older woman. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that. No, you see what I'm saying? And you know. And then one night I was contemplating this. Hell, it's shit. Motherfucker 75. If her shit can still get right, might be a dimension to explore. But then again, on the other hand, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. I got very seriously that's going to happen because I'm with this sister now and it's in game. You see what I'm saying? Now, unless it's something I can conjure up in my head, but pretty much, you know, that's it. You see what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make here is, I went beyond these certain set patterns, and especially what Western civilization say, you supposed to admire or you supposed to desire. And it's a certain set pattern. My field widened because I was more spiritual. You see what I'm saying? Just because I was more spiritual. You see, so it widened and stuff like that. So it's just that. So, and that's the chaos in it. That's what chaos is. That's what chaos is. That's the chaos in it. You see what I'm saying? I even saw it happen on the earth plane where you get too much of something. They used to have porno magazines, and for from the 1950s to the 1990s, they had basically one archetype of woman. The 20s build woman. And then somewhere they had put this so much into somewhere in the 1990s, you started seeing magazines pop up, 40 plus, 50 plus, plumpers. You see what I'm saying? Voluptuous. Bigger women and stuff like that. That's because in the chaos sphere, you can't, a cookie cutter machine is artificial. And the white boy had looked up and he had created this certain image because he was a pedophile by heart, and he wanted to see every motherfucker look like she 18. Like and it's a form of homosexuality. Errol Flynn was a gay, and all them niggas in Hollywood was gay, and he used to fuck with these women. They was like 17 and 18, very illegal, because he even had a statutory rape case in the 1940s. 17 and 18, and when they would turn 19, he cut them loose. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, the gay thing with him was, if I'm going to be with a woman, it has to be an extreme. I'm in my 40s, so she has to be 19. I can't get a woman 40. You understand? That's a form of homosexuality. With us, especially the black man, I'm gay, so I got to mess with somebody 19 or 17 because it's an extreme 9. I'm fucking 35. Otherwise, I got to get the white woman because it has to be an extreme. That's the only way I'm be interested in a woman outside of some dookie love. You see what I'm saying? On that particular level. So, you know, that particular level and stuff like that, no. Know where this is coming from, but hey.
I got a good one for you.
The sassiness, yeah, okay. Give me one of the slip of that alcohol.
I got a good one for you. All right. Now, everybody's talk, we talk, this is the conscious community. We have gatherings. Everybody, we're family. You know what I mean? Everybody's saying that. We have our whole thing. Now, what exactly what are we doing? By sitting in these lectures, getting these tapes, reading these books, you know what I mean? Doing it. Now, for instance, we touched on this thing earlier, but let's make it more personal. Yeah. Like Shabazz, how I know him now. When I walk into Rich, automatically, me and Rich stayed on the phone 8 hours the other night. I don't do that shit with nobody.
Right, yeah.
And never even aspire to that shit, never look for that. And don't even know it's that time. When I meet Cypher immediately, because he's conscious, I feel a kinship that I don't feel with all these niggas here. Now, on the other side, will I still know Cypher? How will I communicate and interface with Shabazz?
I'm getting ready to go into a series of people, which is good. It's not for me to go into. I needed to chronicle this on tape. I've said it some in the lectures, but I'm going to put it all on the tape for all the people who passed that were national people that everybody knew and world people that we got in contact with, and I'll tell you how the whole thing is done. Yes, you will know the people. The only thing that's different is you lose your physical body. Hell, they even got people that's dead that refuse to go to the other realm because they are clinging on to people in this particular world.
Like White Noise with that movie?
Well, let's put it this particular way, because this leads up for this particular story. First of all, the movie Ray, outside of revealing to the world that he was a drug addict, is the reason why the white boy make it. They told us something about Hollywood. They say, number one, they will never make movies in Hollywood for black people where there's not some form of exploitation. So before the movie Ray Charles went to his grave and half the world didn't know he was a dope addict. After the movie Ray, which was centered around on his drug aspect, everybody knows he's dope addict. Mission accomplished for the Hollywood. That's what they do. But one thing, but always when they do something, there's always something spiritual to come out of that. And one thing is spiritual that happens is this. And I've been talking about this in my lectures, and it proved it. When we die, we go to live in the nearest ancestor. You see what I'm saying? And so in so many words, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about in this realm of death. My grandmother died in 1990. She visits all of her grandchildren and all of her children, except me. There's a reason why that is. But two things happen. They notice her presence in the house, but in actuality, she lives in all of their bodies. When I asked her why you didn't come to visit me, she said, because I can't get in the house, as her language is talking about, or on that realm in where you are. Because I have gone to the realm of the gods. You see what I'm saying? And she's down on that level. So I'm explaining to you what has happened that I initially told you at the beginning of the lecture.
Right.
And so based on where her consciousness was, and based on where I was, she can visit all the rest of my brothers, and my two brothers, my mama, and all her children, but she can't come where I am, but she can't enter in my body, or she can't enter, or she can stay in the lower aspect who want to stay around the feces.
Right.
But she cannot enter.
Right.
She can't enter in my house or whatever because it's different plateaus. But they do go to live in others. Let me give you an example also about going back to this God thing. If you look in any book, you'll see the god Ganesha, and you see the god Buddha. And one thing about them, they chubby. And one of her motifs on what she likes is a chubby man, so I guess that's why she's in love with me.
Right.
In the spirit realm, I'm talking about this god, goddess. But one thing that Linda found out when she came with me, that I hardly eat that much food. So obviously my weight is taking on the form of a certain God, an initiation of a God that I've incarnated, and that's the whole Buddha aspect. Right. And one sister said, well, that's your armor, your protection, or whatever the deal he is. Now going back, they go to live inside of the family. We are all one. You see what I'm saying? And so one sister said that she had a guy that died in 76. And she said last summer, she was in love with him when she died. She felt all that over again. I said, because he's inside of you also. You see what I'm saying? He's inside of you also. So the movie, Ray, when he went through his drug thing and he got to a certain level, in order for him to kick it, his mother and the little brother that died when they were children, that he always blamed himself for, they all showed up. And the mother said, no, you can't blame him for that because that didn't happen. You're not to blame for him dying and all this kind of thing, he and stuff. And he turned around and said, I wish you were there for my career. And they say, we were always there. Because they was living inside of him. As a matter of fact, probably some of his talents come from them. You see what I'm saying? Comes from them. When you see this documentary on Earth, Wind, and Fire, with Maurice White, and he talks about how they wanted to get to a higher level and met up with a guy named Charles Stephanie, who came on board on the movie, on the album Open Our Eyes, with Mighty Mighty and True Devotion, and then the next album was with Shining Star, That's the Way of the World, which catapulted them into another level than just this basic soul group. You know, and then they did Gratitude, which was big, and where you got Can't Hide Love, which is another world song. It's so simple, but it's so goddamn profound, the sound of it. You know. And then they did Spirit, and then Charles Stephanie, while working with that, dies. He was the producer. He dies. He was co-producer with Maurice White. And then Maurice White said, Larry Dunn, who was the keyboard player with the big afro, he said he was at the keyboard when he passed, and he played some strange notes. And then Maurice White said, after he died, he said it was almost like he had a voice from the other side. He said, and the music went to even another level. And as a result, by that time, you get the famous album, All in All, with the Ramesses tomb and the pyramid on the cover and the whole layout on the inside with all the religions. So he went to another realm and stuff and all. So we're talking about Charles Stephanie and all became a part. He said it was almost like I had a voice from the other side. The shit was in him.
Right.
It's like the Highlander. He cut off the heads, all the energy go into the Highlander, and in the end can only be one. And the only reason why he gets better and better each time he has the quickening, because he has the talents of the damn ones he slays. That's why I know that the tsunami, which killed 160, close to 160,000 souls, majority of them was indigenous people. You see what I'm saying? Even if they were Asian, they were somewhat closer to the indigenous than white folks if they'd hit Europe. But for a month, I could barely get to sleep. Rough, you know, fighting in the sleep, dreams vivid, all kind of things, rough sleep and all. That's because all that energy has been sacrificed, and it makes us stronger. So every time a person dies, we become stronger. So the reason why we are conscious now is because we had a lot of black people die in gang warfare, diet, fucked up this, heart attacks, and just all the thousands of black men and all that just died from the last 15 years on up.
Right.
Just turmoil everywhere. Just killing and all that. We become stronger because of that.
Right.
That's the Highlander aspect.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sucking up those souls. It's the same thing you saw in the first Mortal Kombat. The guy was sucking the energy up out of him, and when they killed him, all them spirits was up in him. You get strong and strong and strong and built upon that type of aspect and stuff. Yeah.
Is that kind of like synonymous with how, you know, us overstanding aspects of crack wars and all that, but synonymous to cracking the mystery of how last time we broke the mystery of the government cheese? That ties us into a chemical aspect of our genocide, but that mystery of how that was the prequel to crack and overstanding that, we chopped off the head of that epidemic, and now we catapulted into another realm. As to how you broke it down.
Yeah, of just surviving that epidemic, period.
Right.
It makes you stronger. It's a transformation. You see, even in the movie, even in Star Wars, before Obi-Wan Kenobi died, before Darth Vader killed him, he said, remember now, if you kill me, I'm only going to get stronger. You see what I'm saying? He became a super teacher after that. You know, after that. So we talk about that same essence of what that is. Give me some questions.
It actually did the same thing in the Lion King.
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
Just a little bit more of a elaboration on the first question now. Making it more specific. Me and Shabazz, that's like my brother, automatically, off the cuff. So now, and it's a quickening. We recognize. So me and him both on the other side. See,
but I'm gonna get one. I want to say one thing first about that before we get into that.
Okay.
Because you started off on something about the consciousness.
Right. Making it personal to.
But let me let me tell you what the deal is. I do know this. About 11, 12 years ago, C3 Manel, I was taking a meditation class up under him. And he said, remember now, every motherfucker in this room, we all knew each other in a past life, and we agreed to come back to do this work.
That's what we talking about.
And meet back up.
That's what we talking about.
And meet back up.
Right.
Said that by 12, that was in 1993. Now it is interesting here, because I was just done the Dogon lecture in 92, and I started traveling mostly in 93 and stuff. So it's been about a little over 11 years of doing it. And the funny thing about it here is, I was in Philadelphia the day before Christmas, day after Christmas. I was in Chicago on the 12th of December, on the 12th of December. And I was in Cleveland before that in November, and Virginia outside of D.C. in November. And it was almost like every time I entered into the room of those conscious people, it was almost like me being in the same place at the same time, because the consciousness was amongst conscious people was like a zone that I never, although I was in different cities, I interfaced with them and I was never outside of the same zone. So that meant that he is right. We are all here. Even the ones sitting in the lectures or the one doing stuff, we are all here. You see what I'm saying? Because we all knew each other in past lives. And this is nothing but what they call the Great Gathering. So you hear all about the Gathering, and they'll hear all this stuff, and they even got role-playing games on the Gathering, Myth, the Gathering, and all that type of stuff. The Gathering, ultimately, that they even talked about in Highlander, the first one. The Gathering is of the conscious gods of the earth, which is synonymous only to us, the indigenous people, and we are nothing but the head of the indigenous people of Africa, Caribbean, East India, or whatever. It had to be us, because we're the one that's privy to the information. The Great Gathering they're talking about is what's going on now. And white folks don't understand it, or no other people and stuff, because they overestimate us, underestimate us.
Right.
But the Gathering, what we're dealing with at this particular time is the Great Gathering. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what they was talking about in Highlander. They even gave the location. They said we were supposed to walk the earth as these immortal beings, never really dying, which means in actuality death is only an illusion. We're just taking on different bodies in different incarnations. That's what it's really talking about. They say until the time of a great gathering in a land not established yet. Well, at that particular time, it's probably the 1300s or something. But they say in a land not established yet. They were talking about, and what happened in that movie, the first one? They gathered in America. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on with us.
Okay.
That's what's going on with us.
Okay.
You know, and the Highlander can only be one. It can only be one group of people, the conscious. And as a result, we take on the energy of all them damn people that died. We got their energy, and now we're gathering, you understand what I'm saying, for the final quickening. And although the gathering could have taken on over the course of the last so many years, it's still a form of the gathering. And that's what it is. And we're all a part of it because we agreed to do this motherfucking shit a long time ago. That's why you got a lot of people end up in greater trouble because they became conscious and they chose not to do nothing with it. Like C. Freeman L. was out there, and a guy said, he's conscious. He said, man, I'm fucked up. He said, I went to jail for a couple of years for something I did not do. And C. Freeman L. said, you damn right. You went to jail for something you didn't do. You were supposed to do something. And you didn't put up to the plate and do it, so therefore, the cracker put you in jail for something you didn't do. Because he was a part of the gathering. He was supposed to pull up to his responsibility.
So then, I guess that would lead to the next question is, what are we gathering for? What's this great work we're doing?
The great work is to figure out and prepare for the next stage because we pretty much own it.
Right.
We late in the game. Remember now, the consciousness where I am now, you see what I'm saying, it's been for the last 15 years. So I can look at this shit, I'm talking about as far as this in the metaphysical thing for the last 13, 14 years. So I'm saying I'm looking at this thing way into the game. We're there. We're on the threshold.
Right.
You see, we're on the threshold. I the motherfucker had to suffer. I'm just telling you my experience. I had to suffer getting up every day of the 90s, wanting this shit to be over with. And killing myself. Wanting it to be over with. You know. And I'm so calm now. And the reason why I said, well, why you don't worry about it being over like that now? Because and I was thinking it all that I just got tired of it and lazy in the process.
Right.
Me and my woman lay up every day in paradise. No, it ain't that. I'm already there.
That's right. That's right.
Just my physical body hadn't caught up with it yet. But I'm already there.
Right.
So the quickening here is to learn all this stuff and stuff like that, because we are the representatives of the indigenous people on the earth. You represent every motherfucker. I don't give a damn if they're in Kenya or wherever they are. They got a soul. You represent them in some kind of connection. They just had to have a high priesthood to do it. It's just that we're the ones that's just the ones because we are privy to the information.
Right, right.
Now talk about how they just don't have the book. They can't go in a bookstore on the continent or in the Caribbean and buy some shit. We got niggas and all that, this kind of thing. You act like just buying a damn book is like buying a motherfucking house. And we don't even understand, and we just telling you to do that type thing there because other people can't go to no bookstore and buy some stuff. Or better yet, we don't even have to buy no books no more. We done laid out shit on tapes.
Right.
There's so much information and shit. You see what I'm saying? We trying to decipher whether that nigga telling the truth or not.
Right.
But it's so much knowledge, we being inundated with knowledge.
Right.
Sometimes you like, goddamn. I just want to pop a motherfucking cold one and scratch my fucking ass. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Or put on their porno and shit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's my highlight right now. Seeing some woman with some cum splattered over her face. I can say that because I done did the damn work.
I'm going to train this thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
So now, we get addicted like, Rich, Tef, Roswell. We get in these zones, we on the phone, we laughing and enjoying a certain thing, and it could be addicting. Will we experience that when we, like, say, just take me and Shabazz, for example, on the other side? Can we still enjoy whatever it is we define as enjoyment here?
You got to understand something. Frankie Beverly Mays made a damn album in 1983. We are one. We are not local. And we are not foreign. The only reason why you're not thinking that I'm not a connection of you talking to you in a form of your own soul is this physical body is telling you that we are two different species and you focus on that kind of shit. There's no way that you can't do it and shit right here and all, because right now, even in the physical, even in the doggone physical, right now you could be thinking some shit across the way and this nigga might call you. You're already connected.
Right.
You're already connected. The other night, me and my girl was sitting there. She said, my fucking stomach is hurting. I said, wait a minute, hold on 1 minute. Let me go in here and do my shit. Take 2 glasses of water and throw up. She said, oh, thanks very much. Whew. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Some deep shit.
That's right.
The last time I was here, we did the Babylonia 2 lecture. A couple of weeks before, I said, look, my eyes are getting blurry. Go piss in a cup in the morning, that first pee. First you got to pee because the bacteria come out.
Right.
And then in midstream, you pull up the cup. Right. And I put the shit in my eyes.
Right, that's right.
Put the shit in my eyes. Then sip some of the motherfucking shit.
That's right.
So that was about 2 weeks before coming here. Eyesight, everything get hooked up. So I'm in the bathroom. I do the Babylonia 2 lecture. I go in the bathroom and start pissing, and I can smell her piss coming out of my, that was a part of me for damn near a month.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? For damn near a month. We are connected. We are connected.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? On that particular level. We so connected, now I know men have a distinct smell than women in the genital area. You start fucking in them hormones and all that kind of stuff. We talking science here. Those cells and all that stuff start moving together. And one time I'd say, put my hand down there. What the fuck? I smell like her.
Yeah, I smell
not stink. We're not talking about something rancid or something like that. A tart. We're just talking about their essence.
Aphrodisiac.
we're talking about the essence. Even when I'm talking about when they're clean and shit, I know how it smell. I get down that motherfucker about an hour before I come up.
Exactly.
And shit, I'm talking about her essence because those are that's what this whole tantric shit is. I can actually not smell her because I just, I'm talking about we might not even had sex in a week. And I'm someplace out of town, and I can smell and stuff because the shit is mobbed. I ain't talking about, no, down here, it's mobbed together. Yeah. So that means in actuality, we are not separated. You will know him, yeah. That's the only reason why you came back together.
Right.
And only thing you have done is gathered a part of yourself that used to be one in the first place. It ain't nothing but we all connected and the shit got shattered, and it's just like just like you see when thing get cut off and the next thing you know it comes and creeps back together and connects back together. We are all one chain. We are all one chain. The zodiac is different houses, but it's still connected at the middle point, the dot, the black dot. You see what I'm saying? That at the black dot. So we are all we are all one on that particular aspect. To give an example, it's like being one and the stuff all coming back together. It was some movie that I saw. No, I know what it is. It's like one of the best vampire movies came out is the one called John Carpenter's Vampires. And they was talking about you've been bitten, and only take 24 hours before he establishes the vampire link, a psychic link. Because that means that they were all one. They call it the kindred. The witches call it the coven. You see what I'm saying? It's the same. It's the same aspect. It's the same aspect. You see?
Like
yeah.
Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
That movie when one was going, the other one was going from the other side.
Right. Right. It's a connection like that. So yeah.
Yeah, Jazzo has that.
Now let me go into some things. I'll give you a couple of examples of some things. I met a sister named. What's that sister name? Simone. I was talking about. She went to the Mexican pyramids down there in Mexico. She called me from the pyramids. She said, I'm down here in Mexico. What to do? I said, well, do some type of ritual. She said she had a pack of tarot cards, so she did some tarot ritual down there. So she came back. When she came back, I said, now you ready to be opened up. And I called on Zara Banner, and he came through her and opened her up. But I have this knack. I open up about 4 or 5 women to the psychic realm. And so I opened her up. So she was so good. She was 29. And she was so good until she had a knack for calling up dead folks. So what I did was I called up a couple of people. I called up Tupac for popular purposes. I knew the niggas don't want to hear about that. And he did mention that he realized, without all his ignorance, he realized right before he died that he did have the power to move people, and he was getting ready to bring it into the consciousness on that level and start talking about that, and he said he took him out. Call up Biggie. Biggie was talking, and Biggie said, well, how Puffy benefited from his death. I said that Puffy was in on it. He said, no, Puffy wasn't in on the death. He said, but Puff Daddy, knew and knows to this day the people who had him bumped off.
That's right.
That's what he told me. So I was getting ready, to go to somebody else, and he came back through and said, I'm sorry. And I said, why are you sorry? He said, I could have done more with my talent. He was talking about, I could have done more based on the conscious thing. I'm like, but what is you didn't know it.
Right, exactly.
So I talked to him, talked to Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye came. And I said, so what's up? Was your father? He said, no. When he said this, I knew what he was talking about. He said, no, there was somebody else up in the room. That's the way the government kill you. They'll have somebody up in the room and kill your ass, and the father, you see what I'm saying, about him being halfway crazy, they blame the whole thing on him. But then again, on the other hand, what can you do? What can you do? They say that's got something to do with, what's the boy that just shot his limo driver in the NBA?
New Jersey.
The guy that just, Jason Williams. They said something about that might have been a setup. Because they said he got a whole lot of money from the NBA and then he retired.
He got like $100 million contract, didn't finish his contract.
And didn't finish his contract. So it's still on that money. And them motherfuckers said, no, you don't know who the fuck you fucking with. And they say he was probably up in there, and another motherfucker shot this motherfucker, saying, now get out of that, bitch. This was a message from the NBA. Yep. Now that nigga trying to come back and play.
Yeah, he's trying to come back and play. And
you see, they could do shit like that. Now, it's interesting. The other part was, one of the sisters, they call baby nurses, and they go and move in. When rich folks have babies, they'll have this person come in, and they teach the mama how to be a mother. And this woman said that, she was the actual baby nurse for him. And she said that the wife could confide in him, saying that, you know, because he got a white mama.
Yeah.
That she said that he always had these white folks around him. And the wife, although she was black, she said, I'm concerned. You see, he's always, and even one of his boys turned against him and stuff, when all this kind of thing. And she was like saying, you know, I'm concerned he always got these white folks around him. So it's that kind of thing here, but I'm going back to the thing with Marvin Gaye, was the same thing. It was somebody else in the room that killed, there was somebody up in the room that killed him, he said. And blamed, and because it was a knockoff, he said, yeah, he said, because, and I said, well, why did they kill you? He said, yeah, it was just like I said in my lectures. He was getting ready to tap into this whole sexual thing and bring this romantic thing and a new form of romance and sexual thing to the next level. You see, from the next level, you see. And he was getting ready to do that. And they bumped him off. I talked to a couple of people. I talked to a guy named Felipe Wayne. You know, Felipe Wayne was from the Spinners, died in 1982. It was hell, talent. He said that he left the Spinners, but they can see the demiurge can tell you where the talent is. And they tell the powers that be, you need to bump him off because that's a shining being. That motherfucker there is extraordinary. So he said that he had left the Spinners and he was getting ready to do something, and they said they hit him in the, he said he got hit in the back of the head. And from the injury to the head caused cardiac arrest. So they got a way that they can hit you in your head to get you a heart attack. Talked to him. I talked to Du Bois. I talked to even Martin Luther King. I talked to. He said that he said we got certain categories. He said so the activists, they got them a club that they all hang out with. Because I talked to Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X, and he said, oh, we together. We running buddies. Now, although I got that from Simone, I had gotten that years earlier from some other ones, and each time Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad was together. I talked to Marcus Garvey. He was in a certain plateau. He was in a certain plateau. I even talked to Emmett Till, and he was happy because his mother had just made the transition. And he said him and his mother had reunited, and it was a real joyful occasion and stuff. Like I said, I talked to Sam Cooke. He said, yes, Nessa. He said, yeah, I actually was killed by the Jews because I wouldn't agree that they have all of, you know, they say, you know, what you leaving us? Because it's all about whether they can control you. That's what he said. And Minnie Riperton, she, was killed the same way. Killed the same way. You know, because she was a very advanced being, and they was really fucked up about her voice and stuff like that. Talked to Bob Marley. Talked to Bob Marley, and me and Bob Marley were brothers. And we used to be back in Hemmitt together. Me and Jimi Hendrix was related. I'm just going by what they come and say. Because like I said, we all know each other. You see, I'm talking to him. I said, so what you doing? He said, I'm getting ready to revisit the earth as a muse. He said that somehow, for what short time we got, he said, to help inspire a new kind of music, because this shit is fucked up. Okay, to show you how this thing goes, I called on Jam Master Jay. He didn't know who I was. So when he first got down, he started cursing and shit, like, motherfucker, who the fuck is calling on me? So about a week later, I called him back up again. No, I was talking, and she said the Jam Master Jay wanted to come through, because obviously, whoever the surrounding that he had just gotten to, they was like, you dumbass motherfucking nigga. This person is trying to find out some shit about you. You know, he's so-and-so, so-and-so. So he came back there and stuff, and he was saying the same thing. I was in the studio. I had a lot of creativity, and they had remembered the Rum DMC and what phenomenon that was in the 80s. And I was still active, and I was still working with some people. They decided to bump me off. Roger Troutman, the same way. You know, he had gotten with the rappers. He did that. It's ironic, isn't it funny that he had gotten with Tupac and did the California thing and all that kind of thing, and he got bumped off. It's always a family member. It's always some stuff, and they know what to do. But it's also these demiurges that know the ones that's got the talent, that's the ones of these high gods. These high gods. You see what I'm saying and all. They know that, but, you know, name somebody else who died that was real popular. Because I damn near talked to everybody through her.
Wouldn't Bruce Lee fit in that whole criterion of...
Yeah, because Bruce Lee, believe it or not, a part of his enlightenment, a part of him going to the next level of his fighting was he used to read a lot of Krishnamurti. Now, Krishnamurti was a person who the white people went to India. They wanted to make them a guru, the Theosophical Society. They went to India, picked a young boy, educated him through Oxford, and did all that to Krishnamurti and educated him through Oxford. And then they said, look, you're going to be the Messiah, basically, for the Theosophical Society. They want to make their own guru. And well, after he got educated, he said, fuck y'all, I don't want to do it. What can you do? And as a matter of fact, they really got a little disenfranchised about it. And a whole lot of stuff went down because they was dependent on this guru. So he later on wrote a lot of his own works and stuff like that and all. But Bruce Lee, when he had his back injury, was laying on his back, he had to read a lot of other things. And so for that year, laid on his back, he tapped into Krishnamurti. And when he did get his stuff right, and he also probably had healed himself mentally, because he had to go into the metaphysical aspect of the yogas, and he used Krishnamurti and a couple of other masters to heal himself, and as a result, that he became even a better metaphysical master, fighting techniques and all that type of stuff like that, and all that type of thing like that too. Yeah, but it's who else?
He was talking about coming formless like the water, and if you can always see at the end, he always, when he talked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
right.
Other incarnate guys, he said, don't teach your following students like me, teach them to do it like themselves. So he was tapping into some of the Taoism and the I Ching like I was talking about yesterday. But also one other person I want to talk about is, even when we get into our historical legacy like the Panthers, was Fred Hampton Sr., an aspect of who they had to knock out because they realized he had that potential to propel a massive movement into more...
All of that. Not all that, the demiurges, these people, you ever hear, there's a book called The Gods of Eden by, what's the guy named? Something Bramley. Gods of Eden by Bramley. I don't know I can't think of his first name. And he talk about how there's some aliens running the government. Well, it throws people off because they're thinking it's the physical aliens, but what it is that it's basically the demiurge. And the demiurge tell them who to kill and who's a person that has light around them. That can be, so that we must mobilize and neutralize the rise of a black messiah. You understand what I'm saying? has been the goal for quite some time, but they were getting this stuff from the demiurge. They know who to kill and who not to, and stuff like that. And some of these people can just be innocent but have extreme talent. And they say, wait a minute, that's a potential threat. Same thing would happen. It's just like he said and stuff. He must have came to me and told me he was putting people in altered states of consciousness in the 70s, in the 60s, and they had him bumped off Jimi Hendrix. Well, when he returned, even through Simone, he said this about 6 years later, yes, I was putting people in altered states of consciousness, and it was the British Illuminati.
That bumped him off.
Yeah, that took him off.
You ever talk to any of the Black Panthers? Huey P. Newton, any of them?
I didn't talk to Huey. I do know this particular thing. I put it on the goddamn tape. It was common knowledge, and most motherfuckers in the nation know this. Malcolm X and them was notorious for getting motherfuckers bumped off his damn self.
Embellish on that title.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here is the Nation of Islam had a damn shit they used to do when niggas used to get funky. They used to take them off and kill them.
Just like the Jesuits with the
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't want to say it and shit because people are scared and stuff like that and all. But like I said, I be wishing a motherfucker give me some confrontation. But that's common shit.
Right.
I know the sisters. One of the sisters that one of the sisters. As a matter of fact, some of the entities, Teacher T.H.L. Shumala Omagumu, and those came Ishtar Monu Nokubana Titi Jova Imatu. A lot of these things came from one of these sisters out in California, whose mother used to run with Malcolm X. And I'm 43, she's 73. I'm born November, she's 73. I'm born November 28, 1961. She was born November 28, 1931. And her daughter and stuff is some of the ones that's get the channels. But she said she was up in the damnation, and she said a lot of brothers used to disappear. This is what she's telling me. And she said, we didn't see them brothers. Nobody used to take them niggas off and kill them. And Malcolm was notorious for that. And even Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, you know, he who lives by the sword, die by the sword.
That's the violence he was talking about when he said he died by his own violence.
Right.
There's a lot of cats.
They used to kill niggas up in there. Nation was notorious for that shit. You see what I'm saying? And so I checked that. I said, so what's up, man? He said, well, and it was me, Shakira, and her daughter who was getting the channel. And so I said, I want to know. He said, oh, hell yeah, we used to do that shit. Bump a motherfucker off. And he was saying, yeah, and one guy said, and Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, we was talking to this was last year. He said, well, the guy used to sit close to me was CIA, infiltrated.
Yeah, by that man, right?
Was CIA. He said, that shit, he said, it was all infiltrated.
The movie X, that shit cool.
You see.
Deep cover.
Yeah, right.
No, bro.
No,
A woman that she was at her rightful age or whatever she was at that time. Anywhere from 20s or 30s at the time he saw her.
okay.
He was just smitten by, he just, you know. But they did say that, we on? No.
Yeah, we were.
But they did say that her rule was over her or something, like the avatar.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the energy that you're picking up,
Okay.
that goddess of love. So he saw that, and because there's a reason why he named her African Venus. Well, African Venus is Heru or Urzuli, and so in so many words, she was that age and stuff. She's no longer on the planet, but it's more of the goddess essence behind her than it is whether she lived physically for so many years and stuff like that.
So she might have not been actually even into any mystery school, because I know.
No. This was 1800. She was just a regular woman, but it was more of the energy she carried than the physical life of this person. That's really not important. They have so many incarnations anyway. It was more important of what was the God behind her that would produce an energy for this guy to be smitten by her. You see, like that, no, which is Heru or Razuli or whatever. Okay. Like that, no, yeah.
And one question I wanted to ask, as far as ejaculation, how does death fit into sex? How does sex fit into the whole aspect of dying and death, dealing with ejaculation?
The ejaculation has something to do with not so much of the physical semen, but the essence behind it, which is being discharged from the soul. And so it's like anything else and stuff. When you ejaculate, you create a big enough doorway that the soul escapes from it. And that happens to be for the material, the dematerialization of the body, or the deterioration of the body. So it has something to do with a series of essence escaping. You see what I'm saying? Whereas women, orgasms does the opposite. It pulls up and explodes into a spasm of energy that's still contained within the body. You know what I'm saying? Still contained within the body. One of the good parts about it here is it's a force that has to be built in men as far as ejaculation. I've gotten to the point as far as not an ejaculation, as far as orgasm. Males have orgasms too. But I've gotten to the point where as over the course of the last 4 years, I got the orgasm is just about as strong as the ejaculation feel. I can produce the same thing through orgasm. Through orgasm, it's just a lot of you have when you first have them, you don't know what they are. It's a certain feeling you get in sex right before you go into having an ejaculation, and that's what it is. That's actually a orgasm. Ejaculation is something different, two different neurological mechanisms. But you can get it so that you can have a orgasm on the level that it feels about like an ejaculation, and that's pretty much what a woman has and stuff. But we have to build upon that. We have to build upon that type of aspect of just, or even recognizing what it is. You see what I'm saying? So more of the thing about the death thing is basically dealing with you're not just losing some fluids, you're losing a certain essence. And that essence that you use is vital to the soul, which creates a doorway that ultimately the soul escapes through the deterioration of the body. More of the thing about the death thing is basically dealing with you're not just losing some fluids, you're losing a certain essence. And that essence that you use is vital to the soul, which creates a doorway that ultimately the soul escapes through the deterioration of the body and stuff like that. No, so it has a lot to do with that. You see.
And what does death play in a role that causes a lot of scared Negroes that experience what death is through the astral realm or through dreams, that cause them to go into Christianity, things like that? Because you have...
basically, Christianity and stuff like that is basically, first and foremost,
that's what
a program scenario.
Right.
It's a program scenario. Now, based on where they are on the planet, it can be with some other religion. See, you got to realize this particular part. Indigenous people are spiritual people. You understand what I'm saying? And what they are feeling spiritually innately, they have been programmed to attribute it to religion. Right. Because that's basically all they know. See, it's not like they make a conscious effort to go into a religion. Most people in this country is born Christians because we live in a Christian nation. Just like a lot of people that be in Iran and Iraq or Saudi Arabia is born Muslim. So only thing they do, because they are not privy to other information, because they are, especially here, because we are spiritual people, and we can have something that is a moment of spirituality, because we have no other explanation for it. Based on our ignorance, we attribute it to Jesus. Right. You see, or we could have some trauma in our life or some type of thing, emotional distraughtness or something in our lives, and it is innate for the body and for the experience for you to find something or something inner to release you from that. Here goes again, by us not knowing that that is a common thing that can happen, your inner soul comforting you or bringing you to the next level to get beyond it, we still attribute it to religion or to Christianity. But first and foremost, even if it's a fear or whatever from a security, it is the initial programming of the religion that make us ultimately make that decision to go in that. If we had other choices, we could experience other things, or even if we had the choice to understand or the knowledge to understand that our souls make do and compensate for us. And it's not some religion that somebody put on you. If we had that type of knowledge, then we would have better movements towards the divine other than getting stuck in the religion. But basically, that is just the programming of the land. That is the trap. You see what I'm saying? That is the trap. But most people don't go towards Christianity. Most people are born into that. They have no other choice because they were initially programmed that way from a child. You see what I'm saying? So they simply didn't go into Christianity. They just activated the activity that they've already been into. Just stepped it up a notch and went deeper into the programming.
And one more question I want to ask you.
About 10 years ago is the spirit realm influenced these Europeans to make these movies to teach the greater population, although they might think that for whatever reason they think they're doing it themselves, they think they're doing it for their offspring. Ultimately, they're being directed by the spirit realm because the spirit realm has always used some type of message, vehicle of message to teach humanity. In this particular case, the modern mythology message that carries mythology happens to be through motion picture. So that is just the modern papyrus. Now, what they have to do, because there's a lot of white people control that industry, and we are still children, deaf, dumb, and blind, then the spirit world has to somehow give them the influence and influence them from behind the scenes to make these movies that we can now look at as a record to, and when you put them together to see what's going on. And the reason why I know that is science fiction movies were very rare. They were very rare in the 80s and in the early 90s, and somewhere around 95 they started escalating. 94, 95, they started escalating. You see what I'm saying? As we got closer to the millennium. But nevertheless, although they might have thought it was a good economic thing, it was the spirits that opened the public interest towards sci-fi and other aspects of horror other than slasher flicks that would deal with the death thing. And it was the spirit realm that also influenced the directors, producers, and writers towards that whole thing. You see what I'm saying? So there was a cycle involved that would later on culminate into a matrix. You see what I'm saying? And all this type of thing here, you see. And it had an upswing and stuff. And that was just, there's several forms of enlightenment. It's just like we was enlightened by these books and all this other stuff. The movies and everything would reflect that also. And all, but it's still being influenced by our realm. By our realm and stuff like that. Because as long as I've been speaking, I can remember relying on what movies was available in 92 to illustrate a fact, but I had a lot of help 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and the 2000s is commonplace now. You see, you're going to have a certain amount of these things coming about. And that's just the realm that was prophesied of the age of enlightenment. But the new enlightenment, just like it was videotapes for us, you see what I'm saying, is also the motion picture industry. And although Hollywood has a certain way that things get done, and it's not necessarily saying that the motion picture is going to be totally a display of knowledge, but you do have your jewels up in there and your tidbits and your examples up in there. Some movies better than others, you know, like that now. But nevertheless, you know, believe it or not, the society as a whole is being ruled by certain forces to do certain things. You see, like that now, you see. And ultimately, it's good just to break the grip on Christianity or religion. You see what I'm saying? It's just that majority of white folks get it before we do, but it don't really matter about the masses as long as the enlightened get it. Right. And that has been a big help over the last couple of years to actually have the motion picture thing to illustrate some of the same stuff that, you know, would normally have to be in books or other type of old means of how we would get doggone knowledge and stuff. Right. And all, so yeah. Ultimately, all the experiences and stuff is broken back down to ultimately, if any transformation is going on, it's an alchemical transformation.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And that's what the water to the wine is. It's
the melanin.
Yeah.
The melanin covering the
right.
The light and so forth.
It's alchemical transformation, even down to the suffering. Let me give you an example. I was at a melanin conference, and all of the people who were there was given the same basic information that they gave to about the melanin conference 10 years prior to that. And stuff. And in so many words, what happened was they was given the same information. We don't do this, the diet that. We don't do this and we don't do that. We don't do this, what you call it. And I'm saying, according to alchemical production of representation of what melanin really is, the very same things that you are saying that we don't do, and basically you're just talking about health because you don't really understand the ultimate aspect of the properties of this thing. We're talking about carbon. That in actuality, it strives through putrefaction. So in many words, if you take what black people don't do is the very thing that will give you a new reality based on the deterioration. So we just no different than everything, shit turns to fertilizer. You see what I'm saying? Turns to fertilizer. So in so many words, on one aspect we're looking, and because they were trained to look at only the successful aspect of what they know as physical, they didn't understand that in actuality, the very thing in which makes this thing go to another level is the hideous condition. It's like if you take coal and suppress it long enough, it becomes a diamond. You see what I'm saying? It's the same concept of what this thing is. It can never be created or destroyed, just transformed and transferred. And that's what this particular aspect is talking about here. The water into the wine. You see, the properties of alchemy is taking something and making something different out of it. Not preserving it as the people that was at the melanin conference was thinking what they was trying to do. Is to make a new creation, something different. In so many words, that is what black people are in this particular country, is something different. Why? Because the more indigenous people inside of their environment, when they look at us, they say, these people are not of us. Right. And no matter what you say, the African innately is different from us. I find more in common with white folks than I do Africans, because we're so innately different. Because we are a new creation. We are a new creation. That's not bad. That's alchemy in the process, the final product. You see what I'm saying? We're innately different.
That was the second part of my question.
All of that has to go into part of it. The breeding process. And a series of a breeding process starts from certain conditions physically that leads to a certain conditions mentally. And then there's a whole nother aspect of an energy aspect or a chemical aspect of us being mixed together with several African genes that is separated from other Africans, because we got more of the different nations in us because we were split up and put back together. And whereas they might have just one section of the original aspect with them, or two or three, we have multiple aspects, and that's what the great mixing bowl is. So in so many words and stuff, we look at the Africans and we think because of the dark skin that they have more melanin. That's just more, they have more in the melanocytes, which is the skin area, which is the skin area, more in the melanocytes. But what we're talking about is the inner melanin and stuff, and our melanin is higher than the African, because it's been mixed more, not only with the different tribes of Africa, but also with the white man. Now, which goes back to the other part I was going to reiterate with, had we had more time last night, and that is this. We come to find out by studying that whole alchemical process that whatever this experiment was that created the white man was an alchemical experience where they were trying to create a Christ figure but botched the job. Whereas something that went too far from the original to not contain enough of the original, you see what I'm saying, that would make the difference. So it went too far. It's almost like a total mutation, bleached out mutation. Now, here we come, which have all this different processes of the different originals put back together, plus that alien part of the bleached out mutation put in us, which gives it an even greater aspect of something that encompasses everything in the universe and everything outside of the universe and stuff. So in so many words, it is because we have white in us that actually changes and all is all perfect. There's a story in the Necronomicon or Cthulhu mythos and stuff of a guy by the name of Shanga Fong. Shanga Fong is this ancient primordial person that the prophecy is that he would be taken from his primordial land by a white man and go through a whole lot of process with this white man and nourishing until he gets to the highest level of his nourishment, and then he destroys the universe. That's us. Same thing. You see, that's the same thing. Yeah. You see, so the same concept. We are a new creation. That's what Elijah Muhammad used to say. We are a new people. That is what's special about us. Because obviously the original, if it was supposed to be the definitive, it would have never fallen or would have never deteriorated. I don't want to say fall, because that makes it mean like some old religious shit that we did something wrong. No, we talk about metamorphosing. But, you know, it would have never gone from that original state. You see what I'm saying? Which was a low state from the beginning, because we came from God realm into the physical. So in order for, you can't stay at that particular state. In order to do it, you have to change. You see what I'm saying? And there's something that's sort of water, the original product, into the wine, which is fermentation, is that which is alchemically what we went through. We have fermented into a new entity. And no way that you can say water is wine or wine is water. No way that you can say that we are Africans, because we are different. And if we don't know it, the Africans know it. They know it when their soul comes in contact with us. We're fundamentally different. And that is the legacy of what alchemy is talking about, taking something original and making something totally new out of it, and refined in that particular aspect. Because we know that based on the creativity. We know that there's nobody like us, and we're celebrated around the world. Not the Africans. The people in the West.
That's fire right there. Love it. That's fire right there. I'm loving it.
You see.
Yeah.
Give me some questions.
That's fire.
Ultimately, we give you certain characteristics of the black woman and the black man, but ultimately we are all the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily a gender thing here.
Right.
We talk about. We just saying that we give them an example on certain behavioral things.
Right.
That means that in so many words and stuff, they have figured out certain things on that particular level. But then again, we have too.
Right.
And stuff. So, but ultimately, we are all the same essence.
Right.
We have different incarnations where we're female in some incarnation and male in some incarnation, and that's where the whole homosexual thing come by. Because what it is some people that was female in a last life, they came back, and the rites of passages that would make that person be conducive to the body that they have incarnated in is now deteriorated because they don't have the same for certain rites of passages, but yet they used to have that in other societies, whereas the reason why they can say that the Africans had a 95% success rate of heterosexual society is because they had certain rites of passages and certain knowledge of how to line the soul up in the body that it incarnates in based on the rites of passages and the experiences of the actual initiations that culture laid down. And when that stuff started deteriorating and stuff like that, that meant that the soul did not have a conducive culture to come in and incarnate into a society that's going to make sure it lines up with the body that it's in. And so many things, it's like goddamn health hazard, hit or miss. Right. Every now and then, bam, you got a motherfucker that's confused or whatever the deal here is. Right. You see what I'm saying and all. And it can easily happen because ultimately we are androgynous beings. Right. Right. So us being androgynous beings, you would need some type of initiation of culture or customs that can actually line that up. So ultimately, we're talking about, when you talk about the soul, this thing here, you see what I'm saying, on that particular level, ultimately we're talking about the oneness of it all and stuff like that. So we're not talking about the women are going to have something that's going to be innately, that's going to catapult them into initiation over us. Because obviously not. Otherwise, why the fuck I'm talking to you about the shit? And not the sister. It ain't got nothing to do with that and all. It's just a matter of, we see the variations in trying to distinguish on how certain things can be when I make the thing that a woman can tap into better in the dark, and we are visual people and stuff like that and all. You see what I'm saying? But it's not the rule that divides the genders. It's just certain characteristics for you to understand the wide spectrum of what we can do down here and what it is down here.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You got what you got?
No, I'm good.
One more question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How does death playing a key role into this paradigm that we're coming into right now, in the realm of Kali? How does this death benefits for the future gods, the gods that...
Well, actually, we're actually coming out of the realm of Kali. This is just Kali's final phase of her destruction. The Kali Yuga age lasted for 1,000 years and stuff, because obviously we've been having some hell. Right. But the death that we're talking about is just the light in the other room. The possibility of anything in this particular realm creating anew is all used up. This realm is over. So that means that the only possibility is that of a clear drawing board. Death is only the possibility and the potential of a clear drawing board, something that's not used up. So death would literally be the potential when you erase the drawing board that's full of shit. You got a new playing field, so it is the light that's going to come on in the other room because this is distinguishing. It's the next plateau. It's the next football field. You see what I'm saying, and all this type of thing here. So it is the only potential, but unlike when this realm was young, the death was a dismal way station of a sleeping potential. Now it is, and I've seen this with the series of coronations, all the real happening shit is over on that side. And we just hanging on in the routine repetitions of constant in and out dreams of survival. And the white boy has set the standard on what you surviving because he has come in and caused an incontinuance towards learning by causing luxury on this side. And everybody want bling bling and how to do a little bit better. And trying to maintain that type of thing. Whereas it's not even on this side. This is a series of repetitions and traps and stuff that's constantly petering itself out. That's why you got to create new shit. But the creativity is not even in black people no more around here. We could see creativity up until somewhere in the mid-90s. When I talk about the photon belt, you can see it in the music. The music ain't got no creativity. I don't give a damn how much you like them old bullshit rappers you listen to. They ain't doing nothing that they ain't did 5 years ago. They ain't did one damn thing that's new. It's from they did 5 years ago, because it meant that there's a certain point when all the shit was made. And you know that it can't be created because the white boy never could catch up to you because you was constantly creating every year. Now the reason why the white boy can come in and learn your shit, why? Is because there ain't nothing new been created. And that's the way he's been doing with all the shit. When jazz failed to create a new, the white boy took it over. He's taking over the blues. He's taking over the rock. He's taking over all that type of stuff. He never could really do the real funk. And I'm going to tell you why he couldn't do the funk. And that's why they had to kill the funk. Because he never really could match a George Clinton, a funk. That's the purest form of melanin. As a matter of fact, the word funk that they're talking about is actually the purest form of what melanin will be. You can't get it. It's a melanin form that you can't, it cannot be repetition in it. Disco is what he created as an alternative to funk. But funk itself, he couldn't do it. That's why they had to kill all that type of stuff. But the only reason why you can have the possibility of a white rapper is because he can catch up to it because it's been at this particular state of stagnation for 5 years. And therefore, anything that's stagnant, the white boy can synthesize because it's standing still. And it's there, and it can stand still, so therefore he can become the rapper. But if it was creativity, and it was still going on the creation level, he couldn't catch it. He couldn't catch it. I even see now that we don't have even creativity, even something as simple as beating a motherfucker in the face we call boxing. Why is it now, 90% of the time a black man get in the ring, he's slated to lose against them fucking Mexicans? They beat them niggas ass now because the niggas don't understand. It's not about hitting a person in the face. It was about creativity. And the reason why Ali and the rest of the niggas could do that stuff in their room for years because they was creative in what they was doing and they was filling in the spaces between the gaps and the white boy could not catch up. You understand what I'm saying? Now, niggas now, you see a Mexican get in the ring and you see a black person, especially on the lower one. The other one is just brawn. It's more than likely I've seen black motherfuckers get their ass whipped because the creativity is gone now.
That brings up
Happening is there's more specials now today for black people on Black History Month. That's, first of all, that's just the month they're going to give us. But there's more specials now on Black History Month now than it was 5 to 10 years ago. It's because we have a history of struggle and stuff in this country that's been suppressed. That would normally get out in a country that we would be the ruling power. Because we are not, one way that they rule over their subject is to suppress the wrongs or the achievements of those people that they're oppressing, and make sure that what we put out cannot be in the same century in which we do it. So now and so since 2000 we've had Emmett Till's story, Jack Johnson's story, the brother who did the open heart surgery. We had Marcus Garber's story, the story of jazz, and countless of stories of things we did in the 20th century that within that century was unavailable to us. And not even, we couldn't conceive of it, and it wasn't even a thought, because the simple fact that's one of his policies. So now all of a sudden our Black History Month is filled with miraculous stories, but they all happen anywhere from 100 years ago to 50 years ago, 40 years ago, or whatever, but even they happened when it wasn't in this century. And that's just the way he does it. So now we got a lot more things that they're coming out with and stuff, and that's just the way he rules. You will learn about some things, but it won't be the century, even when it comes to some white things that they didn't even know, like the Jack the Ripper story, which was a member of the fucking royal family. And they waited 100 years before they did 2 movies. One is called Ripper, and the other one was called From Hell. So they bring out all this shit here and stuff, but that's just the way he ruled the subjects and stuff like that on that level. So on that, but it's not going to really stir up nothing with these people, because these particular people here are zombies. They found out that even when the creativity died in us, certain aspects of the raw anger and stuff died. We don't get upset about nothing, because we are people disconnected, because number one, the creativity also, because we are creative people, we use that as something to sustain us. Now, because we're not creative people, we only are interested in materialism. So we're about like white folks now. And as long as it ain't about me losing my money, I don't give a fuck. And I'm just an individual. And that's what capitalism is. Individualism. You see what I'm saying? At least for the people who ain't ruling. You see what I'm saying? That's the state that we find ourselves in. Give me some more questions. We passed into the 5th stage, at least astronomically and astrologically, on the 666, the 6th of June 2004, which is 6. And that's when Venus went past the sun. So that is that would be the 5th stage. Number 1. 5 represents Horus, which is also represents Mars, but also Venus is not only represents a form of Aset, Isis, Ishtar, Lakshmi, Urzuli, Aphrodite, Inanna, and these different, the goddess of love or whatever, but it also represents Osiris as Venus. In some of the mythology, which corresponds with Osiris being a mother goddess worship once sometimes. So in so many words, if both motifs of Isis and Osiris being Venus, that means that we're talking about a planet where this stuff all comes back together. We're not talking about astronomically, we're talking about the heart chakra, which is what they're talking about. And in the heart chakra is the true self, and your true self where your soul resides, but they also say it's a goddess. So here it is, we're talking about us getting back to our primal essence, this androgyny that June Singer book talks about, androgyny, which is the realm of the goddess in that particular aspect and stuff. And so in so many words, like I said, this is what's so beautiful about this, how you know that we're talking about now instead of later. Because number one, we don't see any progress within the people out here that can indicate that it's going to be later. In order for something to be later, we would have to see a rise in a certain behavior, energy, and everything else. The state has to rise to another level to indicate that. You understand what I'm saying? But we do have us talking about it now. That means it is here now. You see? It is here now. And thank God, because if it was left to these niggas out here, we might well just pack it on in, get you some wine, some liquor, some freaks, and call it a motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? So we know that it is now because we are dealing with it now. You see what I'm saying? We're having these meetings now because the gathering is now, and it's been a gathering, believe it or not, for quite some years. Because I've been involved with it, and it was a gathering that piqued my interest. So we're on the latter part of it. We're in the twilight aspect of it.
Twilight zone.
Yeah. You see. So we on the jump off part of the metamorphosis stage. And how do we know? Because shit done got way crazy. And that is a part of the DMT spirit molecule. Something that is completely insane. Well, let's say, what is the insanity? What is insanity? Insanity could be what's normal, and what we call insanity could be the new creation. So our creativity is in the insanity. It's only looking at insanity in this particular realm.
It's only based on perspective.
But in the other realm, it's par for course. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, our creativity just moved to a much more severe level. It moved to the psychological level. You see what I'm saying? Which means we're not able to execute it physically, so therefore we just a crazy motherfucker. But then again, on the other hand, that's the last stage of this motherfucker just basically totally obliterating and annihilating everything. That's why the white boy told the other white folks, when this energy comes, you got to get into the zone. It's the only way you can function. Because it is totally surpassed the grasp of the physical realm, which means it's the last stage. We are now alien from our own environment, which means we are actually on the other side. It's just that the physical hadn't caught up with it, and the physical catching up with it means in actuality the physical being annihilated. And the only thing that takes is a fire inside of us, which is the ultimate purification stage of the Kundalini. You see what I'm saying? Purification stage of the Kundalini energy burning this motherfucker up, which is only a few days off in the concept of just the right knob on the radio turned to the dial to catch the right station. We so close into it, until in so many words, we probably talking about it in the other world, and the only thing it's playing out with is our talk is being saying something in this world, but it's only a fucking memory. Leftover residue playing itself out, and we haven't figured it out yet. You see what I'm saying? Because we haven't convinced ourselves that the motherfucker is over, because I have seen coronations going on in the other world, and I was a part of the goddamn coronations. It's just that my dream level showed it, but my physical level haven't caught up with the bitch yet. It's already over.
And they call this shit an illusion
anyway. Anyway.
We dealing with the shit of the whole scenario.
Right, it's a leftover residue. You see, a leftover residue, a series of events that never existed. But for the mere fact my voice is talking about something that is totally alien to our surroundings, obviously we are already there. And we are creating it as we speak it into existence tonight. That's why the demiurge didn't want me to come and deal with the tsunami thing other than being fooled, people thinking it's the conscious thinking it's the white man, and the dead thinking it's a natural disaster that don't have nothing miraculous and cosmic behind it, or spiritual behind it, and still ain't catching on what's going on. But in so many words, we are speaking it into existence as we speak. When I used to say, for the last 2 or 3 years, every time I tell a motherfucking lie, a few days later, the shit come true. Scared the shit out of me. I created it. You see, I created it. It's some shit.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Any more questions?
More questions, Michael?
It's like the last question basically topped it off for me, and I mean that took me into the next room I need to be in, you know. Wow. All right. Basically, how can we assist this whole, being that death is our final frontier? How can we assist that through national disasters? How can we align ourselves with these national disasters?
The national disasters are only side effects of something that's going on the inside of us.
Right. Well, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That ain't nothing but a motherfucker farted a certain way and it came up in the ocean.
Right.
Or somebody had a certain nut and it came up in the ocean.
Right.
Or somebody did a certain dance. Those are the side effects.
Right.
So is the death our final frontier?
Well, it's not talking about death. What we calling death is actually life.
Right, exactly.
No, I mean...
And what we call death is us leaving death.
Right. 69. Reverse, exactly.
You see. It's not death. It's waking up one damn day and the shit being disappeared. You see what I'm saying? So we're not talking about death in the aspect of what you know death to be, as far as your people bouncing around and they have left the physical body, but it's still in a state of confusion. We talking about waking up in the party room number 9. You see. All the shit that we've been partying, I don't want to get into a party. We're only doing a simulation of what we ultimately going to do. And we put the P in the party in this motherfucker. White people got to use our music to even suggest even having a party. You can't have it without something that we created. Otherwise, there ain't no party. You see. That's why they had to stop us from partying. You see what I'm saying? You know. So, we're not talking about death in the aspect. We're talking about illumination, liberation. You see. Liberation.
One final question. I know I keep saying final, but you know I keep going on with this shit. You know that's why my name is Cypher. How does black people, you know, due to you know the whole bullshit, the European bullshit, the barriers that we've been over, how does black people become synonymous with death, and why is it so such a inferior label to this society, to this whole illusion of what we call life itself, period? You know?
Well, it depends on what you call death. It's just like, I was into the Afrocentric thing, and I went into a metaphysical bookstore, and I saw all these books on magic, and I said, what the fuck is all this magic? And the white boy that was on the store say, depends on what you think magic is. You've been taught that magic was a series of tricks. You know, some Doug Hennings. You see what I'm saying? So you've taken something which is tricks and illusions and named an ancient word, an ancient label of magic, which was manipulating the forces of the universe, put on tricks and shit to make it sound much more exotic or much more, you know, mystical. But magic is something totally different than a Doug Hennings and stuff like that, and all these particular people that do the little tricks. So it's the same thing with the death thing. We're synonymous to death. We're only synonymous, black people are synonymous to death when it comes to Osiris and all that and stuff, because death, again, is not what you think about the physical body. It is the ultimate form of transformation and creativity and potential. You see. You see. It's like from the nothing, you get the absolute. Because what we call something is the illusion. So obviously nothing has to be the real. That's why even the top of Kabbalah you get Ein Sara Uda, which is nothingness, but it's also limited light, a limitless light. You see. Before it was chaos, it was called Ain. You see what I'm saying? Nothingness. So that's what this thing is. Mm-hmm.